Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the special edition of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. Ladies and gentlemen, wow, we're going to be watching and reacting live to the Xbox Bethesda Showcase Extended Edition. That starts in 28 minutes and 28 seconds. We're going to be talking about some things that we've been doing, what we've been playing before the show goes live, what we are anticipating, and of course, before we do that, let's get into the introductions. I'm going to start first with Pong Soul. Man, you've been busy as all H. You've been doing podcast after podcast. You, like me, are going to need a vacation from podcasting.
Boom, this is the best time of the year. This is Christmas. I think this is show number 14 or so in the past week. So look, this is absolutely amazing. I love talking games. Anybody who's been watching me since I started podcasting knows that this is the best time to be a gamer. And right here, we're in the thick of things. We're getting all these freaking amazing announcements. Look, whether you like the showcases, whether you didn't like the showcases, I can almost guarantee you, if you've watched everything that's been going on for the past week, you've found at least one game that's got you interested. Probably more like 20, but again, for me, it's like 50, but that's okay. Listen, this is the golden age of gaming. We've got so much stuff coming. Not everything has been what we expected, what we wanted. But at the end of the day, we as gamers have the shortest memories in history. So come this time next year, it's all going to be forgotten. Whatever disappointments we may have had, it's all going to be forgotten. We're going to be in the middle of just an avalanche of games. So, hey, look, it's a great time to be here. Boom. Thanks for having me, as always, sir. Great to be here with the brothers on the panel, too. We got a lot of stuff that we're probably going to talk about after the showcase. So let's get down to it, Boom.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot to get into. Like I said, if you watch the screen, they're basically telling you what is going to be the deep dives, the behind the scenes on Hot Wheels, the new DLC, Naraka, Blade Point. We've been quite a few. So it's going to be a deep dive. It's going to be some interesting stuff. Looking forward to that. Yeah, and I'm with Pong. For me, I watched the showcase another time. So now I have seen it officially 3 times, live on the air with everyone that tuned in for that show, and 2 times in 4K. And sitting back and watching it again, I have moved my score up to 8.5. I gave it a half point more because I thought that there were some instances that, even though they don't really mean a lot to me, they do mean a lot to the future of what Xbox is trying to do. And I had to give them the nod, tip the hat, give them the half point more. One of the biggest announcements that I think no one is talking about is the Riot Games. I mean, folks, I saw someone put up a stat. Now, I don't have it in front of me to bring up on the screen, and I feel really bad that I didn't write the person's name down. Someone had tweeted about it. And said that one of the games is, if you intended to purchase all of the characters, came to $649.
That's League of Legends.
Thank you for the save. League of Legends. So if you wanted to right now go to League of Legends and you were a new player, $649 to get every character. Turns out that once this deal starts, and I'm not sure if it has already started or when it's going to start, you pay your $15, and those games that dropped into Game Pass, you have the ability to download them for the price of nothing, which is just, I don't even know what to say. If you don't see that as inherent value, I don't think
over 100 million concurrent players each month.
Yeah, over 100, man. I think it's a little bit higher. I think it's
like 120, 125.
It's like 100. Yeah, it's 100 and a quarter. So just imagine how many of those conversions, they're not going to get 100 million people to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass. But what if they get 10 more? You know what I'm saying? But listen, let's talk to Fuzzy. Fuzzy, welcome back, brother. Tell us some of your stories of what was going on with you.
Oh wow, man! I'm still loaded with excitement from going out there, seeing the showcase in person and everything, getting to meet some of the people in the community and meet some of the Xbox employees and stuff. seeing it on the large screen, like I have yet to see it on my computer or on my TV in 4K or anything like that. But seeing it on the large screen, especially Forza, oh my god, I mean, me being into racing, the audio and the visuals on the big screen, I think I need a bigger a bigger OLED TV now. But it was just awesome. Meeting everyone out there, seeing like some surprises, like we had talked about like pre-show. Was it High on Life? That's one of those games where it's like never thought, never, didn't even know it existed. I knew that there was like a Rick and Morty game being made in VR or something like that, but having like the same creator and same voices, voice actors and actresses and stuff working on that game or participate in that was just awesome to see. And that's one of those I can't wait to play type of
Hey
deal.
Pong, as soon as Fuzzy's done, please continue rotating through it. So I have to take this call real quick.
No problem. No problem.
But it was just so awesome being out there with everybody, and Starfield, star of the show, obviously. I mean, for me, Forza, but Starfield, being a Trekkie, seeing Starfield in action. I loved some of the gunplay I saw. Love seeing the ships landing and some of the interactions with the NPCs and stuff. So that's one that I'm glad they showed. Just still a little hurt that it was delayed, but hey, what we are going to get with that game, I can't wait for. And same thing with Redfall. That starting to show off with that just set the tempo, and that was other than seeing like possibly like loot dropping, that was exactly what I wanted to see for Redfall. The gunplay, the different traps and tricks that you'll have to trap the vampires and things. I can't wait until that one's released as well. But man, that to me, it was an awesome show. Yeah, there were a few things that some people may wanted to see that were missing, but overall, for the next year, I know what I will be playing on my Series X. But I'll let somebody else take the mic.
No, Fuzzy, jealous that you got to be out there, sir. Looked at your pictures with Phil and stuff. That's amazing. But for anybody, like Fuzzy was just saying, for anybody who has not watched that showcase back, if you have the ability to watch it in 4K, please do so. Those games change when you watch them in 4K. They are compressed to all get out on YouTube and during the showcase. But man, games like Redfall, Motorsport just show off when you watch them in 4K. But no, glad to have you back, Fuzzy. Glad to be back on the show with you, sir. And glad you had safe travels and had a great time out there.
Thank you.
Listen, our next panel member, who is very well known to the BoomStick family. That's right. Outbreak Podcast. Web Dave, sir, you continue to do amazing interviews with members of this community. But listen,
thanks, buddy.
Oh, absolutely, brother. I had such a great time on yours. Oh, man, it's so good over there. But listen, it's great to have you here today. It's been ridiculous week, full of content, full of seeing things. We're going to see some more behind the scenes today from Xbox, of course, and Bethesda. Man, how you been? How you been doing? And what have you thought so far of the week of gaming, Gamers Christmas, I should call it. What's been going on with you, man?
It's been really good. I mean, your expectations are your expectations, and you want so much more than they have any chance of giving you, So, but as far as overall, I think it was really good, really well done. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, I'm ready for a little more of these deep dives. We keep seeing what some of the stuff is that's coming up on the screen, and I'm thinking that's going to be, that's going to be good to get some more deep dives and get a little bit more into, to what's going on. If they drop anything new, great. If they don't, I'm still satisfied as long as what they bring is not just like a rehash of what we already know, but it truly is, some more information that'll get us pumped up for these games coming out. That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what I hope that they bring to the table. And Fuzzy, I know you gave Phil your phone number and told him call me, right? So you could say, yeah, come on, Phil. Anytime you got any drops or information, just give me a call, buddy.
We can't talk about the list. We can't talk about the list or exchange of contact info.
I was just gonna say we made
wink,
sure
wink.
on the Shop podcast to make sure that Fuzzy was going to slip a wish list into Phil's pocket as he was standing next to him. I was hoping to see live video of that moment, Fuzzy, so we had proof that it happened, but that's okay. But you're right, Dave. You are absolutely correct. Today is going to be obviously a lot of behind the scenes. I know some people had some hopes or fingers crossed that we were going to get some new stuff today, maybe some surprises that we were expecting at the showcase that we didn't see there, GoldenEye, that James Bond music, something. But it sounds like, according to Aaron Greenberg, he did set the expectations. He came out and tweeted, since many are asking what to expect for tomorrow, you saw all of our news in the showcase on Sunday. The extended stream tomorrow will feature interviews with more context and discussion with folks behind some of those titles. So he has set the expectations, but I know Boom is back, but he doesn't know where we're at in the rotation. So N64 Josh, brother, TikTok master, Mario Kart streamer extraordinaire. How are you doing, you wonderful, positive man? What's going on today, brother?
I'm doing so well. So glad to be here, except for no GoldenEye. When you've got N64 in your name, you can't help but shed a tear. Why were the achievements leaked? That had to have been on purpose, right? Like it had to have been on purpose.
They certainly didn't hide them, did they?
Who at that massive corporation would allow such a leak to happen? Yet we don't get to anything. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. But hey, tomorrow's Turtles. Don't forget to jump into Turtles tomorrow on Game Pass. And hey, we get to see more Forza. I'm all here for it. Starfield, let's go. Nothing new. That's fine. They showed us a lot of great stuff, and we get to learn a little more about it. I'm ready. I am ready.
Well, yes. I mean, first of all, thanks for taking over. That was an important call I could not miss. Now my phone's on mute. But listen, I you know what? That is a great question, Josh. What the H happened to GoldenEye? That was something that was leaked by Special Nick. Almost seemed like an eternity ago, and I don't know. Again,
I can tell you, Boom. You know what's happened?
What
it's
happened?
launching on Switch first, and it will be on Game Pass and everything else. It's coming on the Nintendo Direct. You just wait.
Maybe
they paid some extra coin.
I know that they had to make a deal with Nintendo to get it done.
Oh yeah.
And maybe and it could be like, for instance, the people keep asking, where's Final Fantasy VII? Well, it's coming. It's going to be. I'm almost positive that at the Square event, which is supposed to be only 10 minutes long, from what I understand, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII, I think that's going to be announced there. I don't have that on good authority. No one from Square called me into home and said, "Hey, listen, Boom, this is what you got going on." But it's just my deduction. And it's funny because even John Wolf was in the chat, said even Sarah Bond made a tweet about 007, which is weird, right? Isn't that weird? Like how things change at the flip of a dime. If she's tweeting about Bond, and I know her last name is Bond, but if she's tweeting about it, that means it's got to be some sort of substance to it. A lot of strange happenings for sure. But
I'll take the trade-off. If Nintendo gets to announce, GoldenEye first, right, before we find out that's coming to Xbox, that's cool. We got Persona before Switch did. So Nintendo fans have been clamoring for Persona series to come over there, and they are getting still blocked for some reason. Not even announced for that at all. So I'll take that.
Real quick, Sin in the chat, good friend of the program, has been always here in the chat. He says, I was happy with Sunday's format, Boom. For those who want an SE announcements for future further out titles, maybe they can have a segment or an isolated event on that and called it Xbox Futurecast. That's actually smart. Wow, dude, that's actually a really smart marketing idea. The Xbox Futurecast. I think that I was listening to the Xbox 2 podcast, which I think everyone knows who those guys are, and they were saying that this seems like this is going to be the format going forward for Xbox. I'm going to be honest with you. I find that to be a bit of a bummer if that in fact is the case, because we kind of want to know what's going on. I know that there's been a lot of talk with, people, disappointed in X, Y, and Z about, what we know. I mean, we know that they have a ton in development. I think I think that there needs to be a a perfect blend, and I thought last year's show was that perfect blend that I'm talking about. 95 minutes. You got a lot of stuff coming out that was going to be released soon, and we got a peek behind the curtain of what was coming out in the future. And I don't know. I mean, let me poll everyone here. We got almost 250 people here. We're only 15 minutes into the show, which is awesome. So thank you so much for hanging out. But I want to poll the chat and the panel. I personally see there's been a real divide or split in the community when it comes to CG versus gameplay. I don't know about you folks. I have zero problems with CGI trailers on a new game. Like I don't understand why people are all in their feelings about that. Like I find that to be what do you gameplay takes a lot. I don't think there's anyone that really understands how much work comes into putting in making a 3 to 5 minute gameplay trailer. Like if the game isn't ready, don't you want to know that it's coming? And this is why Microsoft pivoted. We heard Phil Spencer say he heard the complaints. Last year, we heard that he was pretty mad that Sony showed gameplay and all they showed was CG trailers. I don't know what to say about that, to be honest with you. I think that there needs to be a blend of both. I think that this pivoting to 12 months, only what we're going to see in the next 12 months, I guess that's okay. I mean, you can turn around and say, hey, listen, in 12 months, this X, Y, and Z is coming, but is it? I mean, not to be the Debbie Downer here, but we thought that Starfield was coming, and we thought that Redfall was coming. So if you put a game into this 12 months, outlook, and that game slips, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Pong, what are your thoughts on the gameplay versus CGI? Is there a problem with CGI trailers all of a sudden?
I'm one of the people that have never had a problem with CGI trailers, right? Because again, I want to see. I've been on record many times. I want to see everything. I'm the kid who wants all the Christmas presents before they're wrapped. Okay, I want to know what they are. I want the roadmap until the end of the generation if Phil's willing to show it, right? So for me, I don't have a problem with CGI trailers. I've never had a problem with CGI trailers. I understand why people do want to see gameplay. We've been faked out by CGI trailers in the past, and games have not lived up to them. So I think that that's something that devs and publishers and Phil and his team are aware of, that you got to be careful when you show CGI so that, you don't try to pass it off as game. And I think they've done a much better job in the recent years. Again, Watch Dogs, Division from Ubisoft were two of the most famous and I say famous in the bad way, most famous perpetrators of saying, hey, this is what the game's going to look like. And then we come to find out
that do the old bait and switch.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that more people are aware of that now. But like you said, Boom, to get gameplay, people don't understand from the dev side of things. It does take away resources. It does take away a lot of time to get those gameplay clips, because they're not just raw footage. It is curated footage that they're going to show you, the best points of the game that they currently have that they're making. But again, I want to see future stuff as well, Boom. If this is what they're going to go to, if this is the the kind of new stance that Xbox is going to have, I'm okay with it as long as they're going to set our expectations that that's what's going to be going forward. Now, I'm a proponent that Xbox starts doing more showcases. I think we've all talked about that here as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
Next year, I think they got to start having more shows. Now, do I expect 10 shows? No, of course not. But a couple more shows each year where we can spotlight some of the future stuff, I think that would be great. And like you said, Boom, I'm not saying that you have to give me a show that shows me everything. I'm not saying that at all. But if you're going to focus on the next 12 months, cool. But if you could sprinkle in 1 or 2 surprises in there where we do get a glimpse at something coming down the road in the next 2, 3, 4 years, whatever the case may be, that's good with me. That mixture, just having it sprinkled in there would be the perfect show for me. So, again, we can debate this all day long. I think they should have set the expectations ahead of this. They've been very good at doing that in the past. That's why I was shocked when they decided to do this 12-month thing and not come out and say that that's what the show is going to be focused on, because all of our conversations throughout the community and on our, on our prediction shows would have been totally different had we known that that was going to be the focus of this show, right? And I think that would have helped a lot of people with where they thought the show was going to go. And maybe people might have still been disappointed, but they might not have been so disappointed. Again, for me, I always take a step back, no matter how hype I am, no matter what I expect, and I come out of a show and I take a step back and then I look at the show in totality, go back and rewatch, and then I form my opinion after that. Even if I was hyped to see Avowed, which I thought was going to be there, and I even was on record as saying I thought it might have a chance to come out this year. Obviously, I didn't know the back end stuff that we now supposedly know, but even though I didn't get that, I can still step away from the show and say this was a great show for me. Again, that's my opinion. It's just our opinion. So,
no, it's good stuff. Dave, why don't you give us your opinion on that, brother? What is your CGI versus gameplay?
I definitely prefer gameplay over CGI, but I do think of a few things that we haven't maybe to tease out to get us started or to get them started recruiting people for to work on games. A little CGI is fine as long as you know ahead of time that coming out in the future or kind of thing, or so that we know it's not like soon. But yeah, the gameplay is definitely. Well, I really think that was probably one of the better parts of the show because we actually got to see things in action, in game. I mean, and there were a lot of people who obviously have better eyes than I do that were saying like Starfield, like the frame rate drop and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I was so excited that I really didn't notice it or something, but it was like it's still not finished. It's still it's still obviously
well,
it wasn't a Craig moment, but it was still
maybe
kind of
more than that at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the possibility of them continuing to do that. I also want to owe you a quick apology, and Pong, thank you for putting those super chats in the thing because I was on tomorrow's chat. There are people in there, and I was like, I don't see any of these things you're talking about, Boom. So now I'm in the right chat. So sorry about
that's
that.
all right, brother.
I'm a ding dong. I'm a dork.
These things happen. N64 Josh, let's get your opinion on this, brother. What is your feeling versus CGI versus actual gameplay? Does Microsoft need to find the perfect blend, or does the 12-month, hey, this is what's coming out in the next year, work for you?
I think I said it yesterday. Like yesterday, sure, the showcase, if it had been 60 minutes of gameplay and 30 minutes of CGI, I think it would have been that mix that would have probably had everybody going, yeah, this is good. We're seeing a good roadmap of maybe 24 months out, and then also getting what's going to be on Game Pass in the next 12 months. I think that's the thing we have to consider here is that they're pushing a service that they want people to know that if they sign up a year in advance, here's what they're going to get. Or if they're just going month to month, whatever the case may be, here's the games that you're going to potentially be seeing, right? There's delays are what they are. It's the industry. I have no like hard stance on it. I remember watching the Halo 2 presentation back in the day, and the game was so different from, it wasn't like a bad, like there was nothing negative about it, but things didn't work the same. The guns were a little bit different. Like it wasn't the same later on, and we can't expect it to be. So I'm here to learn about the games that are coming out so that we can have fun making shows about them. And I don't really care if it's gameplay or CGI. I just want to know when it's coming, when I could possibly expect it, and what's the best way they can inform me on it. But to see that gameplay is getting critiqued so badly at this, talking about the frame drops, you're talking about a build of a game that's probably potentially 6 months old.
Yeah.
I mean, so that they can get this stuff done. I'm
would
glad
love
we
for
saw
them to
it,
have a showcase every 6 months or every 3 months would be great. Something.
I you know what I would love, guys? I like the way Sony does it. If they, because what we could see happening is, if they took, hey, listen, on March whatever, we're going to show extended game. We're going to show gameplay of one game. Do a 17-minute, a 30-minute show, 18 minutes of gameplay. Focus in on that. Bring out the devs for the presentation. Hey, this is what we're going to show you. You get your 17, you get your 15, 18 minutes worth of gameplay. You get a thank you. The game's coming out X, Y, and Z. And I think that would actually be good. You do that a couple times a year, and you have your one big show. Then we're not starving for these shows. I like the way Nintendo has a couple of directs a year. I like the way that Sony does it. Sony has a couple of their, they're not all great, sure, but the ones that, like, for instance, the one they did with the Hogwarts was fantastic because it really did show the game. It showed you what was going on. You knew that they had the marketing, and you knew what you were going to go. You got 18 minutes of gameplay. I thought it was fantastic. Let's part
of that reason, real quick, is that you mentioned as soon as we started the show, you said, I feel like the Riot thing got overshadowed, right? There's so much information that we can't retain everything. It's and so if they were 45 minutes if we got 6 a year at 45 minutes, boom, we're well fed at that point.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. I think they can even have they should be having Game Pass shows. To be honest with you. Hey, these are the next 6 titles coming to Game Pass on these dates. They should be doing that. Real quick, Fuzzy, what's your opinion on CGI versus gameplay?
I prefer gameplay, kind of like what they showed for this showcase.
Okay,
and unless it's like for something that's beyond a year or like not really coming all that soon, CGI is fine by all means. But if it's within like, I would say 6 months to a year, it should be time to show gameplay at that point. But the CGI stuff for the further out stuff is fine. Like I like if you were to compare what we saw last year of the CGI for Redfall versus the actual gameplay, it's still in line. Yeah, it's not as cinematic, but it's still in line as far as the character models and the scenery and stuff like that. So I like that there's that contrast between the two. But for me, I'm going to prefer gameplay on something that's coming more recent, only because of like kind of like what Pong said earlier, because of like Division and Watch Dogs. Although those still look great in their actual game form compared to what they were showing. Although some of it may have been more PC centric because of what the effects and what the consoles at that time could or could not do type of deal. But yeah, I prefer the gameplay. But if like kind of like what you guys are saying, if this is going to be the new standard, I'm fine with this being the new standard for like the 12-month show. But I know so many people have kind of poo-pooed on the whole like Xbox not Xbox Live, but like the shows that they used to do before, where it was like, oh, we're going to show a few of these games, and everybody was like, oh, these are snooze fest. They didn't show enough. And at that point, I think some of those they could get away with, like, hey, here's this new project that somebody's been trying to leak on the internet type of thing. Here's the CGI of like the game concept or something like that. If they do that once, either once a year or twice a year, like almost like a Xbox or an XO type of an event, I think that's where, like, at least for me, the CGI stuff could kind of fit in perfectly type of deal.
Yeah. Dave, did we get your opinion on this, brother, before we got 30 seconds?
Yes.
What we got your opinion already?
Yes.
Oh, we did. Okay, excellent. All right. So let me just start this up and bring this full screen. Take off the closed caption.
So excited. Temper expectations.
Yep, here we go. Just put on the music. Bring this.
Dance with me, Pong.
There you go. All right, folks. So the show's about to start. 2 seconds. Let's see what they open up with. Here we go. We got a trailer. This is wonderful.
World.
Hey, we are a small snippet of Squanch Games, and we are here to tell you how excited we are to be a part of the Microsoft Games Show Extended.
Game Showcase Extended.
Game Showcase Extended. What's the need for the extended? Why add that extra word?
It's like,
is there one that's not extended? And that's why?
We're getting nods. There is a not extended one. Okay.
And that one's just called without the extended.
So that's just called
there's the normal one. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, we're happy to be a part of it nonetheless.
The only one that's not coming in the next 12 months is Silk Song. So they kind of broke their own rules, but that's here another.
And Kojima's.
And Kojima's, but you know. Hey folks, just real quick, I will be getting to all the super chats as soon as this is done. Before we give our quick synopsis of what happened in front of us, hopefully we're going to be seeing some good stuff.
Was Silk Song confirmed not 12 months, or just because it doesn't have a release date yet?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Welcome to Xbox Games Showcase Extended. I'm Aaron. This is Malik, and we have the honor of diving deeper into some of the most exciting and talked about announcements, as well as gameplay from the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase just 2 days ago. For the first time ever, the entire showcase was focused on games you can play over the next 12 months.
That's right, Aaron. You saw world premiere gameplay from Redfall and Starfield, and today we've got Bethesda's own Pete Hines right here to tell us more. You'll hear from the renowned developers behind the brand new Xbox franchise, Our History Untold. Dive into Naraka Bladepoint with our partners at NetEase Games, and so much more.
But first, we begin with a special look at how our fans got to celebrate the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase with a message from our very own Phil Spencer.
I know someone that was there.
I love coming to events like this. You can just feel the energy, people loving to come together as a community, their love of video games, the Xbox fans. Just a really special time for everybody, myself included. Gaming has this unique ability to bring people together, whether it's saving the world from the aliens or winning a football game. It's so great. I love hearing from people. What did you like in the show? Those conversations with people that are here about areas that they like and areas they wish we would do more, I think that's something that drives us. You saw it in the show today. People said, we want to see more gameplay. And so we said, okay, great. You're going to see a ton of gameplay.
Yeah, I think this is our biggest lineup ever in terms of just diversity of different kinds of games from different kinds of teams, different genres.
There's some franchises, Japanese franchises, don't always come to Xbox. We've been working on that. Today, we obviously had Persona.
Yeah, that's big.
It's important to us. We not only have all the games coming from our internal studios, but also great independent game developers who we work with around the world. So could not be more excited for what we're doing with Kojima.
And he's got this really great idea for a game. And I want to be clear, because I know we say like experience and stuff. Yeah. He's building a video game, but he has this real unique things that he wants to do in the game. And we said, okay, let's go do something together. And I'm just really proud to be in an industry that can be part of so many people coming together.
right, so maybe a new game.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't remember seeing this.
No, I was
Yeah,
just
no,
gonna
this is
say
this is Valheim, isn't it? Valheim coming to console.
maybe.
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty dope.
It's definitely a Pong Soul kind of game.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
Xbox consoles and PC. Spring 2023. Okay.
Wow.
Another one.
Yeah, so it appears we are going to be getting some new stuff, which is pretty cool.
Bethesda opened the showcase with a dramatic gameplay demo for Redfall and closed it with Todd Howard showing us how deep the rabbit hole goes on Starfield. And we also got a sneak peek at upcoming expansions for Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Here to break it all down for us is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pete Hines from Bethesda. Pete, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So about a month ago, you all announced some delays for both Redfall and Starfield. So I wanted to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about the decision-making process for that.
Absolutely. Look, with all the time that goes into a game, it would be foolish to rush it out the door before it's ready. I think we have continued to sort of examine how we think about games and making sure that they are going to meet our players' expectations. Obviously, the last 2 years have really challenged us from a development standpoint. How we work now largely remotely, while a lot of our folks are not back in the office. And, that has an impact. I also think we've been thinking about things like release dates and when do we give those out and how do we make sure we give one out that we actually hit and don't have to change later. So it's not something we undertake lightly, but at the end of the day, I think what our fans expect, what Xbox fans, what Bethesda fans expect is a high quality game. And we want to do everything we can to give our teams the time to fully realize the games they're making.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's all about, right? Like delivering an amazing experience for the players out there. And so speaking of games, we're just going to jump into it. We're going to start with how the showcase started with
Sounds good.
Redfall.
Mhm.
Now, before we even get into the game, Arcane's making the game. And I want you to talk a little bit about the pedigree of Arcane, just in case people don't know.
Sure.
These folks over there, they're doing their thing.
Arcane Studios is known for really amazing, immersive sims. They do any number of things. If you play games of theirs, Dishonored 2, Prey, there's a lot of common threads you'll find in them. They create really amazing, believable worlds. I think that's a big part of their game is when you're in Dunwall or you're up on a space station in Prey, that it feels believable. There's a reason why things are the way they are. They're also a big believers in systems-based as opposed to scripted. So they really embrace player freedom and sort of giving players the tools to decide, you figure out how you want to complete this mission or get through this area. We're not going to tell you how. We're just going to give you tools and then give you the freedom to go and do. But, there's great characters and interesting story. They bring a lot of different elements and then really let the player create the experience they want.
And that's what it's
Game
all
looked
about.
totally
Gamers
different
have taken
4K.
many games and made it
What
their
was
own.
that,
And I
Pom?
think
So the game looked
Arcane
totally
is making
different
the
in
game with that
4K.
in mind is super important. Now,
Yeah.
how similar or dissimilar would you say this game, Redfall, is from the other
I
Arcane
mean,
games?
look, on the surface, it's a first-person shooter that you can play
For me, it was
solo or
elevated.
with, up
Looks
to 4 players. And
phenomenal.
so immediately you might say, well, it's not a single-player game, so it must be wildly different. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely ways in which it is different. But I think when folks play the game, and even when they see more of the game, I think they'll start to see all of those things about an Arcane game that they love and appreciate. Why it's won multiple Action Game of the Year awards for Dishonored 2, is their ability to bring all of those things together, really high level of polish and let folks experience it. And so I think all of those things we talked about. If you want to play a game by yourself and get a great Arcane story, you can absolutely do that in Redfall. But you can also do things that you haven't been able to do in an Arcane game, like experience it with friends and find out sort of how the whole can become greater than the sum of the parts, like playing it off of each character's abilities. You saw some of that in the demo that we showed. I think the more that people appreciate that, you almost are going to want to try and play Redfall a couple of different ways. You might want to play it by yourself a little bit, play it with others, and it's a game that allows you to do either or both of those things, however you see fit.
I'm glad you talked about playing with friends because I'm taking applications for friends to help me get through Redfall.
Can I put my name on that list?
It'd be-
I'm down to a
It'd
little.
be an honor. Pete,
keep me on that list.
All right,
we
we're
need
gonna
to
do
go
it.
explore Redfall together.
I'm excited. I can't wait for that. And so let's talk a little bit more about the game. Now, between the trailer that we saw last year at the reveal, as well as this one that we just saw, I feel like Redfall reminded players of other co-op shooters like Left 4 Dead, for example. What makes Redfall unique?
Again, it's one of those things, like if you watch just like combat footage, you might look at Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or any of these things and go, oh, I see multiple characters facing a bunch of enemies, and like, so it's the same game. But I think that would be doing a disservice, that it's all of the things that take place in between the combat as well as the combat itself, sort of combining different skills and abilities, and the way that you do, Layla dropping down an elevator using her powers that Jacob can use to get up top on a roof and provide cover. You have different characters who play roles really well, how you choose to use Breebone, the robot, all of those things come into, again, allowing the players not to say, here's a set of rules and you can only use, like, no, here's just some stuff that you can go off into this amazing sort of dynamic, ever-changing world and sort of experience and explore for yourself. And you come back the next day and it'll look and feel like a different experience, even though you're in the exact same part of the game. I mean, I think those are the kinds of things that Arcane does that really bring that sort of extra special element that makes their game so compelling.
Yeah, compelling and fresh. So I'm excited for Redfall, and you said it here for everyone to see that we're going to be playing together. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
I got the proof. All right.
Can't wait.
Oh, awesome. So let's talk about Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I want to talk about the team philosophy, because I hear that the team is actually banned from saying things like, now is the perfect time to play.
My least favorite saying is, there's never been a better time to play a game. Like, we all say that. Yes, games always get better. We know that. The thing that we love about where Elder Scrolls Online is going is their ability to continually refresh the experience for players, provide new experiences, like going to High Isle, a place they've never been in an Elder Scrolls game. It does a lot of things like story and intrigue. There's a lot of politics in High Isle, different factions and the conflict that's going on there. And again, a way that you can jump in and play by yourself and experience it by yourself, even though it's an MMO. But the real special sauce of Elder Scrolls Online is our amazing community. They're so welcoming. They're so helpful. If you need a little bit of help, if you need a lot of help, they're there for you to help explain, to to make sure you have a fun experience. And honestly,
Pong, have you ever jumped into that?
Such a huge part of an online game.
I got a couple hundred
creating
hours
an
in the
environment where
PS4.
anybody, no matter whether you just started playing or
guessed.
you've been playing for 8 years, can have a good experience, no matter how you decide to engage with it.
I love that you mentioned that. Community is as you mentioned, is such a huge part of any online game. And so for players who may not have played Elder Scrolls, who are, like you said, looking to jump in, to know that they have that community backing them, that's going to help them, guide them in their journey, is super exciting. So, but I want to talk about Fallout a little bit.
Okay.
Huge milestone recently, 25 years of Fallout. It can rent a car even now. At this point, right? We're talking about it. All right. So this has to mean something super special to the team.
Absolutely. And look, we are as aware of anybody. Like this franchise did not start with Bethesda. It's one that we took on along the way. And our intent is not just to pay homage to like Bethesda Fallout. Like, no, we mean all Fallout, because what this series has done, what it meant to us as players when we went and played those games, played the original Fallout 2, and then what the franchise has become, and sort of growing and finding an even, a new audience with Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 76 is something we really want to celebrate. And honestly, what's going on in Fallout 76 with the pit and your ability to continue to push the boundaries in an online game of story and meaningful player choice, and as you're going along, making decisions that kind of matter and have a real impact, I think is important in the evolution of Fallout 76. And just honestly, how far that game has come from its launch. Like, we're keenly aware of how that launch went, but we are also keenly aware of the incredible amount of effort and dedication from all of our teams across Bethesda to say, like, we believe in this thing and we want to give the fans more of what they want and the kind of experiences that they want. And where Fallout 76 is now is truly remarkable when you go back and look at sort of where we were and how far we've come, and honestly, how much cool stuff is in store in the pit. It's going to be super fun.
Excited to jump in. And again, that's one of those things that I'm sure you guys attribute to the community, giving that feedback.
That 76 community, again, not just in the game, but what they do for each other, to support other folks in the community, what they have done to raise funds for worthwhile causes. Like, it's not just an amazing group of gamers, it's an amazing group of human beings, and honestly, one that we're honored to interact with and be a part of every day.
I love that, Pete. Before you make me cry, we're going to move on to Starfield, all right?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about it. Starfield ended the show. I got to say, watching the trailer, breathtaking. It's one of those things from the different locations and just seeing the difference between that moon versus the populated city, just amazing. The dog fighting, just everything was so awesome. The team really outdid themselves.
It's one of those things about a Bethesda Games Studios game that I always love, and it's been the case, honestly, since, I worked on Morrowind and Oblivion and all those games that, we talked about. And for every single one, you cannot pin people down to, oh, it's about this, because it's not. Like, ultimately what those games are massive sandboxes where they give players just ridiculous amounts of freedom to say, you go figure out what kind of game you want to play and what kind of experience you want to have, because that's what this game is about. It's not us prescribing and saying you have to do these things, and no, it's about creating this huge sandbox with over 1,000 planets so you can completely explore and say, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, it's entirely up to you to figure out what is fun for you. Do I want story? Do I want to join factions? Do I want to, build outposts and gather resources to build more cool stuff? The team really puts all of those tools in the player's hands and step back and says, now it's time for you to tell the story of Starfield, which is your story, which is going to be different than mine, which is going to be different than everybody else's. And I think that's really where the magic
Pong, I can
of
see you having
Bethesda
1,000
Game
hours
Studios
in that
happens.
game.
Speaking about the scope of everything,
Yes, sir.
Todd said
I think
this is
Pong's
what
is
an
gonna be
epic
really
RPG
dirty.
is. What does Bethesda define an epic RPG as?
I think, again, it's sort of leaning into, look, there's a lot of folks who take a lot of different approaches on what does an open world mean. And Bethesda Game Studios always pushes themselves to the most freedom and least limitations, right? Where the items in the world are all real things. You walk into a store and there's a bunch of weapons or whatever. Like, that's not just art on a countertop. Like, you could pick those up. You could steal them and run out of it. You can create chaos. Like, we don't want to put too many limits on what the player is or isn't allowed to do. We love it when players say, I wonder what happens if, and then they try it. And then they get to see, like, oh my Lord, chaos ensued and it was insanity. Everybody was shooting at me. And like, that's, I think, the beauty of Bethesda Game Studios and the number of ways that they push for you to explore that, right? It's not just one, it's, you could spend thousands of hours doing nothing but shipbuilding and like focus that as
That's
all
gonna
you're
be
about.
great.
And
Like,
that's
I'm
okay.
honestly
but you could
looking
also
forward
be about
to
exploring
seeing-
every planet and finding
You know,
all of the
I don't know,
and
it might
that's
have been
okay.
John
Or you
Wolfe
could just
that
play the
said
main
it.
story and be like,
I wonder if they're
I
gonna
want a
have, like,
kind
you know how
of
Forza
experience
has
that I'm
cars that
guided
are
through so that I
made
kind of get to see stuff, and I might
by
stop here
other
and there.
people
Oh, there's a
you could
cool
just
side quest that I
download?
got, but
That would be
I
dope.
want something that
Yeah,
sort
it's
of
gonna be
leads me
completely-
through
that
because
game
I'm a
is gonna be so
little,
full
it can be a little
community,
daunting to
it's
say you
gonna
can
be
go do whatever I want. Like, ooh, I don't know what I should do. So some folks want a little bit of a guided path or to understand where the fun is, and no approach is wrong. Like, for me, that's epic because it says we aren't putting any limits on what you can or can't do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I love that. And what you said about, those moments that maybe you experience that I don't, like, those are some of the best moments if I think back to playing RPGs when I'm discussing with my friends. Oh, did you see that? No, I didn't see that. Where did you see it? And having them go out and find it. So I think that's going to be one of those things.
We talk about that a lot, that sort of water cooler moment.
Exactly.
Of like, you come in the next day and you talk to everybody about what you did and you were like, wait, I did that quest, but I did this completely different thing. And you sort of start to appreciate all of the choices that you could have made. You didn't even realize were an option. Like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Like, oh yeah, I just ran in and stole his ship and shot all of his crew members and took off. Like, you can do that? Like, oh yeah, you can do anything. Like that, I think that is a special part of a Bethesda Game Studios game. And when we say epic RPG, we mean all of the stories, all of them.
All right, you just gave me some ideas for stealing people's ships. So I appreciate that. That's going to be top on the list to do in Starfield. Now, we saw quite a bit of combat and action in the game. That seems to also be, in addition to exploring and everything, that seems to be another huge focus of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, look, if you look at a game like Skyrim, which like everybody's played Skyrim at this point, it can, a combat is a big part of that. Unless you decide it's not. Like, if you're one of those folks that says, actually, I'm going to do the alchemy thing and I just go off and pick flowers and make potions and like live another life in another world this way, then combat isn't part of it. But look, we know in an epic RPG, there's always bad people, shooting at you. Sometimes you got to return fire, and there's a lot of fun to be had there. And so, providing a lot of different skills that sort of determine how good you are in combat, combined with all the different weapons in the game, and then you layer in ship combat and all of these other things, it starts to sort of paint a picture of just how broad or how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's going to be so impressive. And you touched on it a little bit, and I want to talk about it because this was when I'm watching the video, the demo, what I saw, and it really caught my eyes around the ship. It's not just getting in the ship and that's your ship. There's so much behind it. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, like every ship is customizable to the nth degree, and not just like cosmetically. I want my ship to look like this or look like that, though obviously that's totally a thing that you could do if all you care about is cosmetics. But it goes much deeper than that in terms of like what kind of shields you have, what kind of weapons you have, like what kind of ship are you building? What do you want it to be good at? What trade-offs are you willing to make or not? And then the other part of it is, of course, well, you can't just like, it's a spaceship. Those aren't cheap. So you have to figure out like, how am I going to do this? Where do I get the resources to build this stuff? What kind of, skills do I need to level up to improve different parts of my ship beyond, what I could do without those skills? So there's a lot of, again, choices in terms of you get to decide that, how much you want to put into that or not. Do you just want to give somebody money for the parts that you want? Do you want to build it? All of those things are sort of part of the fun of deciding how much do you want to interact with this and how do you want to interact with it?
Absolutely. I mean, just as you mentioned, the scope, the level of player agency, something that I feel like is going to just make Starfield such a special experience. So between Redfall, ESO, Fallout 76, and Starfield, you all are just killing the game.
Yeah, we got a few games coming out.
It's going to be so great. Pete, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Pete. Now, coming up, we'll hear from our friends around the world, including Squanch Games, Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, and of course, Xbox fans like you. But first, let's hear from the creators of one of the world's most popular Battle Royale games.
This looks good.
This is available through the Insiders program.
大家好，
right now,
我
so
是
you can
永
go
劫
check
无
it
间
out.
制作人关磊。
We are glad to
首先
share
感谢
Naraka
微软
Blade
的
Point,
24英特
a unique online multiplayer action game with players all around the globe. As a NetEase studio, 24 Entertainment is joining hands with Microsoft to bring Naraka Blade Point to consoles for the first time. You could play the game on Xbox Series X and S, as well as Windows next week. We're also joining Xbox Game Pass, a platform with a huge player base and a vast, bright future. Naraka has been so well received on the PC platform. I am so grateful to the players for their love and support. As a competitive survival game incorporating a lot of action elements, Naraka features a range of characters with unique personalities. Each hero draws from different civilizations and cultures. Battles allow for a great degree of strategic play. You've got a wealth of melee.
Hold on a sec. I don't know what happened. Hold
Yeah,
on.
the audio.
Holy Jesus Christ.
I still got the feed on my other screen.
Yeah, okay.
It's showing the same game.
On solo endeavors. You can also party up with friends and use group tactics to flatten your foes.
Yeah, it's back. Sorry
That's
about that,
Naraka's
guys. I hit the
underlying
wrong
design
button on the
that you're
keyboard.
unchained and have the
What a
freedom
pain
to
in the
choose how you play. Collect soul jades to change how you play. Transform your katana strikes and make your cannon a weapon of mass destruction. Each hero can be customized too. Whether you want to rush into battle as a berserker warrior or cast fireballs as a sorcerer, the choice is yours. We can't forget to mention our unique face customization system too. You'll never need to worry about running into a doppelganger on the battlefield because you're able to edit your hero's features to your heart's content.
Stop it.
You can even recreate the face
That was hilarious.
As we approach
Oh my
Naraka's
God, that's
first launch
great.
anniversary, we're introducing a brand new weapon, the Twin Blades, releasing together with the Xbox and Game Pass editions. Twin Blades strike with the speed of a raging tempest and sweeping blows. We've seen similar weapons in other games, but here in Naraka, it comes with a style all its own. Charging up strikes is usually a high-risk, high-reward move. With the twin blades, you can charge up while moving and keep your momentum as you unleash a flurry of combos on foes. Since its release, Naraka Bladepoint has launched its own faction clash game mode with Omni's Nightmare and the thrilling limited time mode Shadow Surge. There have been many casual modes to play as well, but our community has eagerly asked for a campaign mode.
This is what I want to see.
We're always listening to our player base, and we're happy to announce that the wait is over. Players will see the first chapter of our campaign mode. Form teams of 3 to take on new enemy types and massive bosses. Disarming a boss won't be as easy as disarming another player though. PvP and campaign mode are 2 entirely different games. Further campaign chapters are also in the works, so we're eager to hear any feedback you have for us. We are also working on an Xbox One version and hope to see more players join Naraka later this year.
Wow.
Naraka is launching on Xbox Series X and S and Windows Store on June 23rd, and it's included with Game Pass at launch day. Now's your chance to dive into the world of Naraka Bladepoint.
快来体验我生无拘吧。
Let's move to this now.
That's a smart play. This is a smart game to get into Game Pass.
Yeah.
Oxide Games. Oh,
this is Ara.
Yeah.
Pong, this is for you, brother.
Yep. But it's only coming to PC right now, which is disappointing.
Some
No
well
console
known,
announcement.
some lost to time. But what about the history that could have been if you were its architect? How would you reshape the world? What new stories would you tell? And when your people speak, would you listen? How would you lead them in this new world? History is filled with moments of greatness, but these will be yours.
I'm excited to welcome our friends from Oxide Games for a closer look at their historical grand strategy game for PC called Ara History Untold. Dan, Michelle, thank you two for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And on behalf of the entire studio, we are really excited to be here and finally be able to talk about Ara.
I mean, we all are excited too. You just had the world premiere 2 days ago for Ara. And I have to say, I'm a really, really big history fan. I love me some history. So I've been looking forward to talking to you two about this. Now, we all know this is not your first strategy game, but the vision behind Ara is so ambitious. So tell us more about it. And also for those who are new to Oxide Games, we would love to hear more about the studio as well.
So Oxide Games was founded 9.5 years ago in my basement, actually, from the development leads of Civilization V. And our goal is to push strategy games to the next level.
And what's really great about working on a new IP is that you don't have kind of these previous expectations that a sequel would have. And so the sky really was the limit, and we got to really take the genre to a new space. And we really hope that not only will fans of strategy games like this, but people who've never played a strategy game before will find something they love as well.
You're absolutely taking it to the next level. I think I saw like a drone was in like the 18th century or something like that. It's very, very fascinating. And I think that like, if you're someone who really enjoys history, it's bringing like all the worlds together, all the periods of time together. And that's a grand vision in itself. So how does the vision of Ara impact the player experience within the game?
So one of the kind of big things we wanted to do with Ara was really explore how to make the game less about finding that optimal strategy, that optimal path, and really bring in ways to make it more meaningful to the player, make it unique to themselves. So what are different kinds of choices we can bring to the player so that when you play, it's different than when I play, and yet we can both be competitive together? How can we do things to really impact agency and expression and really let you express your values and your play styles through the different mechanics in the product?
And Dan, what about you? How does the vision impact the overall experience?
So one of the big things that we've been working on is what we call the living world. We wanted the expression of the game to manifest itself in a way that feel authentic and cool. So we've spent a lot of effort on making sure that the choices that you make are expressed in a visual way. And so you're going to see your citizens doing things that reflect the choices that you've made. And this is actually really challenging. So one of the goals when we founded Oxide was to not have to tell the designers, no, you can't do that thing. And so the game is obviously huge. It's just massive. And so it's a very large technological constraint from doing something like that. But we have our own proprietary engine that allows us to really bring this alternate Earth to life.
I think that's the beauty, right? Because in history, the great thing about learning history is that you learn about culture, you learn about stories, you learn about things that are probably brand new to your eyes. But the way that Ara helps you remix, reimagine, and rewrite history is a beautiful sight to see. And I'm excited to get my hands on it, and I'm sure everyone else is who's watching. So let us know, where can we learn more about it, and when can we get our hands on it? Because I need it today.
So if you head over to the website, you can sign up for the Insider program, which will give you a chance to join the technical alpha and play the game later this summer, which is super exciting because we've been playing it, all the time. And so now you have a chance to play.
Dan, Michelle, thank you two so much for giving us the lowdown on Ara. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Grounded is finally leaving early access and moving into full release with a highly anticipated story mode. Here's Adam Brennicke and Eric Dorabella from Obsidian Entertainment to tell us more.
Yeah, I'll be playing. I never
what
jumped into
can
Grounded,
players expect
I will be
from
playing
the
story
1.0
mode.
launch of Grounded?
The big one, of course, is going to be a complete game, and that means story, right? From beginning to end, you can play through, why are you here? Who put you here?
Yeah, exactly.
And how are you going to get home? I think those are like the big questions that people are asking about Grounded. Originally, we really just wanted to make a survival game. And one of the jokes was, hey, what if we did backyard survival? Everyone was like, yeah, that's a very unusual idea, but I think there's something there. One of the things that we did early on was establish the art style of Grounded. Things started coming to life as we did the initial prototypes and seeing some of the cool things, like the first time we added the spider into the yard, seeing the reactions of people in the office, even jump scares, people screaming. The team is very small. It's the smallest team I've ever worked on at Obsidian. I wanted everyone to be able to participate on the design side of things. So I said everyone is a designer on the team. And I think that extends into our community and how we're building the game in game preview and early access.
That's probably one of the big successes of the game, is how close we work with the community and take all their feedback and suggestions. I think it's super rad.
For a game developer too, that is a huge thing, just to get people's feedback constantly of what they're liking, what they're not liking. And all those adjustments just make a much better game at the end of the day. We're at that point now that the yard's getting finished, and now we can play through the story. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of things that I think players aren't going to expect. And I
think I know what you're talking about. And I cannot wait to see players' reactions. I know a lot of players are just waiting for the story to be finished to finally jump into the game. People who played the game previously are also holding out for more content. I think it's just going to pull a lot of people back in and gain a lot of new players. So Adam, we have the Broodmother from last year. It was our first big boss. And then we came out with a bunch of mini bosses like
Termite King and
the Assistant Manager. But in this trailer, we're showing players the Mantis. What can they expect from this?
So we're super excited to finally show off the Mantis. I know that's been a big ask from players that they want to see a praying mantis in the game.
They've been asking for this for a long time. Do we have anything else that the players can get excited about?
The mantis is just a little tease of one of the new boss fights, but there's more to come, right? Potentially many boss fights that we have planned for the full release of Grounded. There's a lot more secrets and other things to uncover.
When we reached 5 million players, that was already super crazy. And then we hit the next milestone of 10 million players still being Xbox.
Doubling it, right?
Yeah, in Xbox Game Preview Early Access.
That just goes to show that we have a fantastic game. Everyone's just so surprised at like how much ground it has grown.
I just hope that players and the community understand how important they are and impactful on this game with us.
And we're so thankful for everyone's support along the way. It's been an amazing journey, and we're finally almost at the finish line, right?
Yeah.
And I think we wouldn't be here without our amazing community and all of the fan support.
I agree. Best community ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting into that. I want a single player campaign. That's what I want.
So I got a call from my good friend York Newman, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator. He told me it was imperative that I meet with him. So I'm in this helicopter. We're flying to this location. We're on our way. Let's go.
Not Paris in the helicopter.
With the Ray-Bans on.
With the Ray-Bans, no less. That's great. Yeah, great touch.
York! Hey, Paris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming to DC, man.
No, thank you. What am I doing here?
Later. Let's get in. We don't have much time.
Oh, okay.
All right, Paris. Right across the Potomac. That's where our contact is.
Are we headed towards Arlington?
It's still secret. I'm sorry.
York, what is this place?
Oh, you'll see. Let's go. Wow, look at this place. Nick, how's it going?
Hello.
Paris, I would like to introduce Nick Partridge from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Thank you for having me. But this makes a lot of sense. I saw during the trailer, there was a collaboration between the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum and Flight Simulator. Here we are at the National Air and Space Museum. So let's talk about that collaboration. Tell me more about that.
Well, Jorg and I have been talking for more than a year. He was looking for me, and it turns out I was looking for him to ask the same question, which was, don't you think that our organizations have a lot in common? Dedicated to bringing flight to everyone, and
I was looking for the Spirit of St. Louis, which is in the Smithsonian ever since 1928. Wow. And the Smithsonian was gracious enough. They gave us a millimeter perfect scan, which is what we'll feature in the 40th anniversary edition. But as Nick and I kept talking, it was very clear, you know, the world's foremost museum for air and space, the Smithsonian. Yeah. And Microsoft celebrating its 40th anniversary. It's a match made in heaven, and there's lots of things we can do.
Yeah, authenticity, accuracy, access, it's all there. We're hoping that if everyone has as much fun in the community with the content that we initially collaborated on, a couple of our most historic aircraft, and some of the other aircraft in this center are already in the simulator, maybe we can jump in with both feet and do more in the years to come. Maybe even, who knows, we'll go crazy. We'll put the space shuttle in there.
That would be dope. Yes.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
All right, you guys have never been here before,
No,
right?
this is my first time.
All right, so keep your eyes peeled, stick together, and Jorg, I've got something special for you right around here.
Perfect.
So
Check
you
this
know it's
out.
coming then.
This is my favorite plane, the Junkers Ju-52 3-motor. Amazing.
And that is an awesome plane. And as I look at all these planes around here, it makes me ask the question, are you going to put all of them in flight sim?
Maybe not all of them, but we hope a lot of them. In the 40th anniversary that comes out this fall, we already have 3. We have the Wright Flyer, the Spirit of St. Louis, and the DC-3. And we hope to get a few more. As Nick and I were talking, there's a lot of things we could do.
Yeah, we started with the most iconic ones, and who knows? There's no lack of opportunity.
You know, I keep saying amazing because this place is amazing. And just like Flight Sim, it just keeps going. So what else is happening?
It does seem like we're going supersonic, like the Concorde here. We've been doing a major update ever since we launched every month since August 2020. And just today, we're actually launching World Update 10. And guess what?
Tell me.
It's the United States. And it's huge. We have a dozen cities, a new height field, brand new aerials, new missions, new airports, new everything. And as always, it's free. And check out this beauty. This is the Beechcraft Model 18. They call it the Twin Beach. It's a famous plane, and that's also launching today. And it's a great coincidence.
It's actually a huge coincidence. Jorg's been working on that Beechcraft since before we met, but it's a great example of how much we already had in common.
So Jorg, What can we expect the rest of the year from Flight Sim?
We have a ton of great things coming up. So today is World Update 10. We have 2 more World Updates, one in August and one in October. And then in November, we have the big 40th anniversary edition, which will be an absolute delight for anyone who loves aviation.
Okay, that 40th anniversary edition. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we're celebrating by bringing back some of the planes from the old sims, like from Flight Sim 10, 9, 8, even before that. And we're restoring some of the old missions, and we're bringing back some of the airports that were in those editions. So it's a real celebration of the franchise.
So this celebration is not only of the franchise, but the past as well.
And we're also adding brand new things on top of it, like that the community really wanted. For example, helicopters. Sobo wrote a brand new fluid dynamic system to make all that work. And then we're adding gliders, which is a completely different way to experience the planet. It's just you and the wind. And then the last one is we're bringing, it's the biggest deal for simmers, a brand new real-to-life airliner, the A310 from Airbus, by a brand new partner called Builds, a great development team. In fact, of the 10 planes we're bringing, most of them are created in collaboration with third parties. So it's a really cool way for us to integrate with the creator community.
Now, how do I get this?
If you're on Game Pass, if you already own Flight Sim, the 40th anniversary edition is a free upgrade.
This has just been an incredible experience, seeing all these planes and going through the history and everything that's coming to Flight Simulator. I mean, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to DC. Paris, thank you, Nick, for the great collaboration with the Smithsonian and for kicking off the 40th anniversary edition of Flight Sim. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Today was a good day, but now I have a need for speed. I'm headed to the danger zone, baby.
Estamos aquí para disfrutar del mejor día de mi vida, el día de la Xbox, que estoy muy emocionado.
I came in Madrid just yesterday to be here in FanFest Xbox, and I'm so excited.
Estamos aquí en Madrid para ver nuevos juegos como Starfield, que yo personalmente le tengo muchísimas ganas.
Me ha encantado y no me lo podía perder. Es un evento único.
Why gaming? Just a passion.
Son experiencias únicas. Me ofrecen algo que no encuentro en otro lado.
Lo que te digo, es como una familia para mí.
Me ha parecido genial y un cierre para un evento así es maravilloso.
Just the passion that people have. I feel very welcome.
Yeah, there's no experience like FanFest. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, we're just a snippet of Squanch Games, and we're here to talk about High on Life, our new action, adventure, comedy, Metroidvania, first-person shooter that is nothing at all, a little bit like Microsoft Excel.
All right, you're a bounty hunter now. You've got to help me rescue my friends.
So
They're Gatlians just like me.
This jumped into one of my most anticipated games of the year.
Yeah.
That's our game, High on Life. Pretty insane. There's a lot to talk about.
Let's dive in. So, Justin, you're typically known for working in animation. What brings you into the world of games? Why are you in the world of games?
Yeah. I'm obsessed with games, have been my whole life. Always had ideas, always had, things I would love to make, but just never thought I could ever step into that arena because I lack all the skills needed.
You don't know how
other
games
than
work.
other than like creative direction, creative ideas, like other than that, I lack all the skills to execute.
But that's why, that's part of why you want to start Squanch, right? Is like to be able to have an idea like that and let it grow to something amazing.
And to be able to be creatively free. I wanted to make games that I wanted to play. And that was sort of the spark that just lit the fire of Squanch Games. And then
this looks good.
We shipped Trover and we shipped Accounting Plus, and now we're on this absolutely dream game. This is like our real legit swing at like a proper you know, like we're indie, but like this is like our AAA, like, or is it triple I for indie?
We're triple I.
Yeah, this is a triple I game.
So the story of our game mostly follows like Earth being invaded by this evil criminal cartel of aliens who come in and kidnap humans and start selling them on the black market like they're drugs. And you're the one human who has to team up with a talking gun and stop them.
And when you select a cartel leader that you're going to go after, like it opens the portal door to that world that they're in.
Eric, can you tell us a little bit about the worlds of the game, the art style of the game, the visuals?
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time kind of constructing and creating these awesome alien worlds. Myself and Mike Hispano, who is our art director, him and I worked like a ton on the sort of art direction of the game. He really kind of landed in this space, which was kind of Blade Runner meets the Muppets.
It looks like an
so we're trying to
Insomniac
capture
game.
that feeling with all our characters, especially our aliens. And then each world is its own kind of unique flavor, right? I think some of the
First
ideas
thing I
came
said
from
was
very
Sunset
kind of
Overdrive.
core thoughts.
Like, it
Like,
just
we
came
want
out
to
of
have
nowhere.
an awesome
Wacky, wild,
alien, like drug-dense spa on an asteroid. And yeah, what makes me really excited is the sort of really clear and like it's almost deceivingly simple narrative, right?
Save the Earth, humans or drugs, talking guns. Ta-da.
So Alec, who are the guns? What's their deal?
The guns are these talking alien Gatlians. They're all shaped somewhat like a gun you'd find on Earth, but they've evolved to be just gun-like in their own way. And so this race of Gatlians each has their own unique personality, their unique set of abilities, and you're going to be rescuing them from this evil alien cartel. And together, you got to stop the bad guys.
And get more Gatlians.
Yeah, collect more Gatlians.
Yeah, a lot of players are going to have very different experiences depending on what gun they favor.
Yeah, you kind of pick your favorite companion to have out a lot and hear their dialogue. Be part of different dialogue scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Look at us, blasting away.
And sometimes you can unlock the guns in a different order than another player has. So
That's
when you
right.
go back through a level, you'll see things that you would have been able to access if you'd done it in the other order. You can come back.
That's a huge one.
All right, so we've talked about this crazy good game that sounds amazing. Why should people be excited to play it?
As a studio, we are attempting to bring A-level adult comedy into video games.
Something I love about Squanch is we would put a lot of effort into things that a lot of other studios wouldn't even bother with, like a single small joke that 5 players might find.
Well, okay. Now I can.
I love that stuff. I love like edge casing and like
That's what makes you remember a game.
Yeah, like if a player's trying to break the game in a certain way and then you have an answer for that for them, that is like such a memorable and amazing moment. It's almost like watching TV, but the viewer is able to reach into the TV and poke a thing, and the character has to respond to that. And there's so much fun to be had.
You can skip it all. We worked really hard on it. If you want to skip it.
Yeah, if you want to just like miss out on like.
I love this
Yeah, if you're like a
comment.
big
Look at
dummy
this,
and you don't want to play the game at all,
Throw it up on
that's
the
fine.
screen.
We're not going to judge you. We're just going to be
That's
upset.
great. I love that. It's great. October. This is like I said. It's a console launch exclusive. That's a big deal. Oh, is this Somerville? No.
Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. This is. We had heard about this. This has been shown, but I think it has. But yeah.
Ooh.
Leatherface.
Oh, is this like a Dead by Dead Daylight expansion?
I don't know. It's by Sumo though.
I think it's its own game.
It's its own game for sure.
Oh, okay. Holy wow. Okay.
So another new one that
New one for the show. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Hell yeah, Game Pass.
This is Mag's game of the show right here.
Pentiment
Josh
is
Sawyer's
a
game.
narrative adventure game set in 16th century Bavaria, which is part of the Holy Roman Empire. You play a character named Andreas Mahler, who is an artist working at a Benedictine abbey. He gets involved in a series of murders and scandals and tries to unravel them over a period of about 25 years. The name Pentiment, it is specifically referring to paintings in which there's an older painting underneath the painting that you see on the top. And if you scrape away the top layer, you see what was left behind. This has a bunch of significance. Obviously, you're playing a painter, but also it has a lot of significance to the idea of history kind of being covered and uncovered over time. When I saw narrative-driven games with really distinctive art styles, I was inspired to make a historical game that focused on the unique art style of the early modern period that was really driven by the relationships between characters and the stories that played out over time. Hannah Kennedy was really integral to defining the art style of Pentiment, especially blending the late medieval illuminated manuscripts with the early modern woodcuts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of major points to solve and kind of marry between wanting this to be a true to the history, true to the feel of the source material that we were referencing as far as the narrative, but also thinking about the types of games that were like what we imagined we wanted as far as a gameplay experience.
From the beginning, I knew that I wanted to portray a community that changed over time, which meant that characters are changing over time. That's really the focus of everything. The buildings do change, but really it's the characters where you see all the crazy stuff happen.
Kids that I had become attached to because it's a 4-year-old and we designed them to be a 4-year-old and then they're getting married. And then I felt a weird like emotional reaction to that because I'm like, oh, baby's all grown up.
I think the 16th century has always been really interesting to me because it was a time of such social upheaval in Europe. I think when we look at social change in the past, it seems like it's a thing that always happens outside of our time. But right now, I think we're maybe more aware than ever that social change is happening constantly, and people are always struggling with it. It's always a difficult process. And so I hope that by looking at people from the past, we can see that even though the setting might be different and the specific issues might be different, ultimately we always struggle with social change.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I know this is a game for a lot of people and people are going to dig it. I mean, at least it's coming out this year. Not for me.
It's putting on this bandana.
All right, let's do crime.
This looks interesting.
It's such a bad idea.
All you had to do was keep your mouth shut.
I'm gonna override this.
Is your life mission to cause harm?
Yeah. This is my favorite shot of the whole game. This one.
With As Dusk Falls, what we're trying to do is to make a brilliant interactive experience for anyone who loves brilliant storytelling. So people who enjoy films, people who enjoy TV series. It's also a social experience and about sharing these stories with the people you love.
I think we should stick to the plan.
Yes.
Stick to the plan.
I took my inspiration from TV shows, prestige shows like, Breaking Bad, Fargo.
You know, she was playing on her phone.
Dude, you took the words right out of my
wonderful
mouth.
setup.
You try that again, and every last one of them leaves in a body bag.
When
do
you
that on some
write
of those
for
Jack
interactive stories, it's all
games.
about the stakes. You want big choices, the tentpole ones that everyone will remember from the chapter they played, but also you weave in the smaller stakes, the drama bit, like the relationships. Are you gonna stay married?
When you lost your job, this wall went up and I missed you, okay?
The game deals with very mature themes that you don't normally find in a video game. It really gives you agency over characters that are relatable, that are familiar to you. It's like an interactive story, but with the power of video game behind it.
I only gotta yell and my brothers will come. Now hold your horses, young man. I think you should at least listen to what I have to say.
In the first book, it's mainly structured around a hostage situation in a motel in the middle of the desert in Arizona. So it's a pressure cooker.
You want your wife to live? Answer and do exactly what I say.
Book
glad it's in Game Pass,
takes
or I
another
probably wouldn't try
approach
it.
entirely, and it's
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a lot of
across
people
multiple
are going to
states
try this because
in the
it's in Game
US.
Pass. I think that's the whole point.
There's nowhere else to run.
Which I like.
As Dusk Falls is an interactive show, but the important part here is the word interactive. The players are very much needed to help the character on their journey and decide what's going to happen to
does look
them,
really
help them
interesting,
grow
Dave.
and change.
It's not like there's one golden path. There's so many different ways through the story.
You can replay it, and then you get to like different story and different ending, and you feel like you're actually achieving something and shaping the story and also the character.
Yeah. Some of your true self comes out into that thinking.
No, what would you do? I'll try to. Yeah.
And at the end of the game, when you play, we tell you about your playstyle, and it reveals something about the player themselves, their values, and the way they interact with the others that they played with.
I think for me, one of the really important things was that this art style could tell lots of different types of stories. We want to take really beautiful, sort of subtle facial performances, really strong dramatic moments, and just really represent that such that every frame is a painting.
It's a single player and multiplayer experience, so 1 to 8 players.
Because we wanted to draw in people who weren't necessarily gamers. Gamers are going to love this game as well because it's a very mature, in-depth story. But this game really taps into your life skills rather than your gamer skills. Puts everyone on a level playing field.
You did well there. That is a ferocious
Oh,
job.
we did it.
You share the same character, you discuss, you make decisions, and majority wins. It's like each player is like a voice in the character head.
Are you taking the money this time? I am definitely not.
Take the cash. It's been a massive
It's gonna
journey.
cause people to
and
fight in real
I can't believe we're just like so close. touching
Give me that phone.
to this game. Yeah, I'm going to
Last
miss
score
it
after
when
the
it's
end.
done.
You're a dick.
It's funny. Rain says, great. A game to ruin friendships. Great.
I'll definitely try it for sure.
Let's check out what mysteries, adventures, and of
Slime
course,
Rancher 2. We didn't see this
slimes
at the show.
are waiting for us.
I
in
actually
the
saw
new
someone say
vibrant world
that they
of
missed that
Slime
this
Rancher
wasn't
2.
at the show. Well, here you go. Slime Rancher 2.
I just have to say, with all the comparisons on Twitter between like Forza and other games or Starfield and other games, how come nobody did like Bug Snacks versus Slime Rancher?
That's a great point.
How about Callisto Protocol versus Dead Space? I'm just saying it's the same game.
For those of the watchers out there that this may not be your go-to game, just think of the easy gamer score that you can get for like Microsoft Awards and Microsoft points and things like that. So,
Dude, I over the course of the last few days, I think I racked up like 6,000 or 8,000 points.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, this again, not so much for me, but I'm glad that it's going to be in Game Pass. All right, so we got half an hour left of the show. This is 90 minutes, right, Pong?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to talk about what we saw, and then we'll draw up some other conversations once this is done. So stick around after this is done. We were gonna give you a breakdown, and like I said, we'll get into our opinions on what was shown and a few other topics. Prince Green says, I played the first one only because I was getting Microsoft points for doing so. That's great.
All right, time to get going. First trip in a while. Put this in here. Australia.
Larry.
I need a passport. Where's my passport? Passport.
Not 129 pounds.
All right. Where's my Uber? All right, let's go. Let's go.
Welcome back to Melbourne. It is so great to be here in person. Get ready for the showcase.
I didn't know Larry was in Australia that he went over there.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's cool.
Leah, you're in Melbourne with FanFest.
We are so excited to tell you all about Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels, the first expansion for Forza
This is what
Horizon
I'm talking
5.
about. I know a lot of people were
Mike,
disappointed with
let's
that.
start
I
with why the
love
team
it.
decided to bring Hot Wheels to Forza Horizon 5's Mexico.
Our fans have been telling us for years about how much they loved Forza Horizon 3's Hot Wheels expansion.
There you go.
So we've been waiting for the right time to bring everyone another Hot Wheels adventure. Forza Horizon 5 presented the perfect opportunity to bring Hot Wheels to life like never before with the power of the Xbox Series X and S.
It really does sound like the perfect time for Forza Horizon and Hot Wheels. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what to expect being in the clouds of Mexico this time.
Yes, you travel to the clouds above Mexico to visit the Hot Wheels Park, which is comprised of over 200 kilometers of the fastest, most extreme tracks yet. Once
is
there,
awesome.
you'll join the Hot Wheels Academy and set out to take on Forza Horizon's most extreme racing yet and prove yourself a Hot Wheels legend.
Let's go.
As well as the iconic orange Hot Wheels track, you'll take on new driving experiences across gravity-defying magnet tracks, as well as ice, water flume, and rumble tracks.
So we spoke loads about biomes in the build-up to Forza Horizon 5's launch. Are we expecting something similar in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as well?
Yes, so we're truly going to see the power of the Xbox Series X and S when we look at Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels' all new biomes. The amount of detail and diversity that we can pack into the 4 new biomes is breathtaking. We have the rugged Giants Canyon, where you'll hear the growl of your engine bouncing back off the intricately detailed rock formations. The Ice Cauldron, where frozen tundra drips into the glistening molten lava. In Forest Falls, you'll see a tree canopy towering over epic waterfalls. And finally, the visually stunning and exhilarating Horizon Nexus, where the Horizon Festival is suspended among a web of Hot Wheels tracks. And there's more, because new players can jump into Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as early as possible during the main game's initial experience.
And how are people going to be able to use Event Lab in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels?
So in Event Lab, you'll have the freedom to design, build, and share using the new Hot Wheels Creation Kit. That's over 80 new track and stunt pieces that instantly snap together thanks to our new building tools.
Oh my God,
You can then
that's
share your
great.
creations with the entire community for players to discover and play. We are anticipating our community
out
building
Hot
an
Wheels to Hot
ever-evolving
Wheels
catalogue
game.
of new player-created Hot Wheels events that everyone will enjoy.
They all sound absolutely incredible, Mike. But I'm going to ask you the most important question in the room.
When?
Can you tell me a bit more about the cars?
Yes. So we have 10 new amazing cars coming to the pack, including 4 new Hot Wheels cars, which have been scaled up to real-life proportions. We have the Diora 2, the Bad to the Blade, the Baja Bone Shaker, and the Chevrolet Hot Wheels Copo Camaro. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels introduces
July
the most
19th.
extreme tracks we've seen yet in Forza.
July
So we've
19th
added
is
some
when
new extreme track toys and hypercars to go with them. I want to call out the Hennessy Venom F5 and the Mosler MT900 GT3. Their speed is unlike anything we've seen before.
So we know Forza Horizon 5 fans naturally love co-op. So how is that continuing in Hot Wheels?
So in a first for Forza, you can join up with your friends and play from the very start of the experience in co-op. You and your friends will then take on a new campaign, moving your way up through faster and faster car classes until you unlock the extreme speed of X-Class and become a Hot Wheels legend. You can also choose to take on the world in Horizon Open or team up with your friends to take on a team of drivatars in the Horizon Tour.
Ooh, I absolutely love that. Final question now, though. When can we expect to play?
Yes, so Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels releases on July 19th on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Windows PC, and Steam.
Mike, thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun, and I cannot wait to play.
This is the comment of the show. We need playground to make a kart racer. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Time for some Master Chief.
Show me Chief.
Oh, there's yeah. This game is incredible. I don't know if anyone's ever played it. It's a lot of fun. That's I'm glad that they got the Master Chief armor in there. That's hilarious.
Nice.
June 30th. Nice. Spartan Showdown. That's pretty cool.
Now, onto our next block, pun intended, of course. Minecraft Legends is the action strategy take on the franchise you never knew you needed. I'm here with Dennis Rees from Mojang Studios, who has just released the world premiere trailer of Minecraft Legends. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Malik.
So happy to have you. I mean, this is a really exciting time for the team. Let's talk Minecraft as a whole, though. That game, I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like everyone on the planet's played Minecraft at this point. But that wasn't enough for you all. You all went and made Minecraft Dungeons, and now we're moving on to the recently revealed Minecraft Legends. So one, tell me a little bit about what it means for the team to actually be able to reveal the game. And then two, just let us know what Minecraft Legends is.
Well, we are so excited to finally be able to talk about this game with the world. We've been working on this game for some time now. Minecraft Legends is an action strategy game is set in the Minecraft universe. And in order to build this, we really wanted to partner with a great company that understands strategy games. And so that's when we reached out with Blackbird Interactive. And in doing so, we were able to create an experience that is welcoming for people who may have not played Minecraft, but also people who have. And I mean, you've seen the trailer. It's about going and traveling through these beautiful biomes, exploring this world that is familiar yet still mysterious. And so as you explore these lush biomes, you collect resources, and then you use those resources to build defenses from these dangerous but very
is this a game for you, bro?
piglins. And
Not with-
those
not
defenses,
with it
you're
being
able
Minecraft.
to fight them back and send them back to where they come from. And you know
I obviously
what?
played with my kiddo and
You're
stuff
gonna probably
back in
want to
the
build
day,
some
but it
alliances with some unexpected friends because they're going to help you actually defeat the piglins and send them back to where they come from.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. And I love what you said about trying to make a game that's both for fans of Minecraft that exist and new fans coming in. Minecraft can go in so many different directions, I feel like, with a new game. What made you choose action strategy?
Well, really, it was many years ago, as a group of folks at Mojang sitting around talking about what game genres they really enjoy. And action and strategy were the most popular ones that came up. And so we started to think about who we could partner with to build that experience. And that's where we came into Blackbird Interactive. And that was back in 2018. And, the project was codenamed Badger. And an interesting little fact for many of those people that might follow Minecraft, if you go back to Minecon 2018 and you look at the shirt that Jens Berenstain was wearing, you'll see a graphic on there, and it's in the shape of a badger head. And really, that was meant to be an Easter egg for years forward, which here we are now.
I gotta say, I love a good Easter egg. Now, where would you say that Minecraft Legends fits in the overall Minecraft universe?
Well, the Minecraft universe is just always growing and expanding. And if it's not from our partner communities, then it's from Mojang specifically. Like you mentioned, Minecraft Dungeons. That's a great example where Mojang went out and we built this dungeon crawler experience in the Minecraft universe, and players love it. It's wonderful. And with Minecraft Legends, we're trying to do something similar, really. And here we're going to be introducing a narratively driven campaign with a whole bunch of new characters and a lot of other things that I'm not ready to share right now.
Dennis, I thought we were friends. You can share it with me and everyone watching. No? Okay. I won't pry anymore. But tell us when the game is coming out and where we can keep up to date.
It's coming out in 2023 on PC and console on Xbox Game Pass. And if you want to know more, just follow us Twitter or jump on Minecraft.net.
Dennis, I'm so excited to jump into Minecraft Legends. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us the lowdown.
Thanks for having me.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Kirsten, aka Kayvon Dubin. We're here at Xbox Fan Fest. We got a whole lot for y'all to check out, so let's get it in.
All right.
They asked me what year Halo came out, won this sweet jersey. I couldn't believe when I was here on site that I would get to meet the real Master Chief.
Experience here, out of this world. It was really cool to see. I'm gonna go get my nails done because they have a nail station and these things need to be painted.
Redfall looks dynamite, and come on, Diablo 4. Oh, it's so, why are you so gruesome? All bloody things. No, but it's great. I love it.
What a day we had today. Thank you, everybody, for showing up to Xbox Fan Fest Toronto. Had a lot of fun, saw a lot of games, great experiences overall. Catch you in the next one.
All right.
Here we come. Are you ready for more? Standing that we got. Coming in real hot. We breaking down the ground. Whether you ready or not. Start it up. Do it like ready, set, go. We coming up next. Yeah, watch this. Yeah, watch this. Do it like that. Right now it's that move. Going through that thing you do. Turning heads, you make them look. Yeah, they got their eyes on you. Yeah, set it up. They see me mad. Ready, set, go. We coming up next. Yeah, watch this. Do it like that. Yeah, watch this. Do it like that. Do it like that.
I'm joined now by Sarah Bond, who leads the gaming ecosystem organization here at Xbox. Sarah, it's so great to have you.
It is awesome to be here and so good to see you too.
Yes, I'm super excited for this conversation because as we know, game creators are crucial to Xbox's success. And whenever you talk about them, it's with such passion and tenacity. I love it. And it sounds super important to you and the rest of Team Xbox. So my question to you is, how do creators inspire the work that you and your team do?
The creators are just the bedrock of everything we do on my team. You know, when you really think about it, where gaming really comes from is it starts with someone who has a creative idea that they choose to put into a game that we all get to experience and enjoy. And that's really the bedrock of our industry, of what motivates us, is to help those people, those developers, bring their stories out. And we think about it in three ways. You know, how do we create a vibrant and engaging gamer community for them to come to through Xbox? What are the set of tools and services that we give them that make it easier and faster and more affordable for them to make a game? And how do we create a range of business models that they can use? Because a business model really enables them to perform all sorts of different types of innovation.
Yeah, business models, tools, resources, all these provide choices, and it's increasing these choices for not only the developers, but the players themselves as well.
Yeah.
For example, you and your team just announced a new feature that's going to bring game demos to players. Can you tell us a little bit more about Project Moorcroft?
Project Moorcroft. I know. I love these project names. I wish they would just let me name it, but
Yeah,
they
just
won't.
say it.
I know.
You
They
know,
won't.
Can we change that?
Well, look, we were sitting around as a team and we were thinking about some of the things that we've always loved the most about the gaming industry. And one of them was, remember when you would go to like a show like PAX or E3, and you would go to the show floor and you get to play a demo or a piece of a game, and the developer would be right there next to you, talking to you about their experience, asking you to try things out, asking you your feedback. And that was one of the things I loved the most about those experiences. We just don't have them as much anymore, you know, in the way that the world has evolved. And so we thought, gosh, how can we make Game Pass like that? Like, how can we use the power of Game Pass and all of the great discovery and player engagement that is in it and have it create for creators that opportunity to engage with fans early as they're creating their game, and also for players to get to experience something that they're really anticipating. And so that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to have a program that enables developers to take a piece, a level of their game, and put it into Game Pass so that they can get that great feedback and players can engage with them. And we know it's a lot of work sometimes for developers to do that. So we're also going to compensate them for their participation in the program. I'm so excited for what's going to come when we
That's
launch
where
that.
Game Pass is
I
going to
think
come
the
in.
one thing that we
play,
all miss is that connection, right? And now that we are able to come back into conferences and stuff like that, we still need to deepen it, because
Yeah.
by deepening that connection, you're diversifying the voices, and then that in return helps to diversify the games and bring diversity into games. So
Completely.
how will Microsoft help to further that front?
Yeah, we think about it all the time, frankly, as Microsoft, as Xbox, in my team in particular, because creators is core to everything we do. You know, if you think about a game, it enables you to experience a perspective, a point of view in a way that is deep and immersive, unlike any other form of media. So the importance of everyone having an equal opportunity to share their story and their perspective through a game, and what it means to shaping our perceptions, to what we talk about, to what we believe, to broadening our perspectives, is critical. And we think about that all the time. So what we've done as a team is we're continuing to expand the set of developers who we're engaged with and bringing them into the Xbox ecosystem. We've actually more than doubled the number of developers that are making games for Xbox. And we saw lots of those games in the last day, which has been pretty cool. And the other thing that we did this year is, for the first time ever, we actually have a presence in Africa. We have our first Xbox employee in Africa, specifically dedicated to working with creators in the region.
So what message would you like to leave for creators who are interested in starting in the industry?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. People say to me, gosh, I would really like to be part of the gaming industry. I'd love to make a game. How do I break through? How do I get involved? I say, first of all, network. Talk to people, meet people, connect with people, just how you and I connected actually at an industry event, which we met at, which was super fun. You know, build that network and that connectivity, because it's so critical in every industry, but I think particularly in gaming, right? You know, go to industry conferences like GDC, meet people, learn, try that out. And if you're interested in making a game for Xbox, you can actually go to github.com. You can actually download the Xbox Game Developer Kit and get started. And once you have a game concept, you can also submit it online through id@xbox.com, and then you can self-publish to Xbox, which is another great way. And of course, if you actually want to get involved in the industry, all companies are great, but I highly recommend you check out coming to work at Xbox. I'm biased, obviously.
I mean, hey, you have every right to be so. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. And also, thank you to all the viewers for tuning into Extended. We've heard from so many amazing developers on today's show. Now, before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
We were talking earlier about the importance of people being able to tell their story through a game and how incredibly powerful it is. I mean, when we were talking about that, I was thinking about an experience we've had as a team that's been very touching for me. So, a couple of years ago, we started really consciously extending the depth and breadth of content that we have in the Xbox ecosystem. And it was through that I got to know the team making Stalker 2 really well. And I actually got to intro that game last year in the Xbox Game Showcase, and it was just incredible. And the thing was, when I was looking at that game last year, and I was looking at the story that they were telling, and they were talking about the beauty of the land and their dedication to their culture and their country, and I thought, wow, this is a cool game. This is a compelling story. But sitting here today, recognizing that team is Ukrainian, they were based in Kiev, looking at that story and what they were showing to the world just feels entirely different and far more poignant and visceral to me. This is a team who's talking about their culture, talking about fighting for the existence of being a nation, of being a people, of having their own language. And now we all as a world have gotten to see how tenuous that in fact is. And it's an honor, frankly, to be part of this industry and to have the opportunity to uplift their voices and to let their story be told through a gaming experience, especially knowing what we know now about the situation in Ukraine. And as part of that, they actually shared with us something that they wanted us to share with all of you today as part of the show.
Here we go. Violent content.
1-1-3.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they were going to show this kind of content. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Jesus Christmas.
Wow.
Здесь кипела работа, идеи, она не останавливалась. 3 месяца назад началась война России с Украиной.
Wow.
Що код робочий день починається з тривоги.
Під час сильних обстрілів ми біжимо в укриття.
Yeah, it's been tough for that whole region.
Який загинув ще в перший тиждень війни. Ходишь вечером, сирена, выходишь днем, сирена. Днем еще работать надо, поэтому особо не выйдешь, а вечером все время вот так.
Це моє робоче місце.
Вже третій місяць я живу і працюю в коридорі. Зі мною живе одноокий пес, врятований з-під обстрілу в Гостомелі. Зараз мені важко писати квести про війну, коли вона йде навколо.
That's crazy that they were able to continue working on this game even in these conditions. It is
ще побачить,
a
наскільки у нас
testament.
класна культура, і в тому числі наскільки класні ігри ми можемо робити.
Меня зовут Александр. Я являюсь сотрудником компании ЖСК. Я смотрю, с начала боевых действий была потеряна связь с моими родными и близкими. И это непередаваемое, ужасное чувство, когда ты не знаешь, живы они или нет.
Я Дмитро Ясенєв, розробник Сталкера. Ніколи не міг уявити, що в 21 столітті, в центрі Європи, може статися повномасштабна війна.
Я Олексій Іванов, ком'юніті менеджер проекту Stalker 2.
і зброю в руках захищає свою країну від російської агресії.
Привіт, я Макс, наративний дизайнер гри Stalker 2. Після перемоги я до неї повернуся.
Побачимось на релізі. Слава Україні!
Unbelievable. Wow. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to show scenes of the game, not actual, like behind the scenes of their life. Like the fact that anyone would complain about the delay, you got to be a knucklehead. This is, wow.
Last question, Dr. Dallen. Are you sure the perimeter surrounding the zone is really enough? If a powerful emission were to occur, we would...
Listen, the zone has remained stable for years. Besides, we didn't establish the most advanced institution in human history without first guaranteeing its safety. As the head of the Scientific Institute for Research of the Chernobyl area, or CERC for short, I believe the wonders that we will bring to the world far outweigh the potential risks.
How big are these risks exactly?
The zone reveals a whole new world. We can stick with the old one, fearing change. But tell me, do you want our descendants to remember us as cowards? Or as those who dared to venture forward to a new, better humanity?
The injured were evacuated. I remind our listeners that a similar incident happened in our region quite recently, ruining homes and livelihoods. However, city officials urge people to stay calm, assuring them the situation is totally under control.
Yeah, they confirm this is next year. Yeah. Wow, that was let me stop the screen. Let me stop sharing. All right. Let me get everybody in here. Well, I mean, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have 430 people here, and I got to be honest with you. I am proud that Xbox shared that behind the scenes of these folks' real lives. I think all we do is we're quick to talk about a delay or delays in plural. We knew that Stalker was being delayed. We now have it official that it's coming next year. But seeing what those people have been through, I'm actually surprised that the game is coming out at all. To be honest with you, I am. Again, I said it before, and I kind of just wanted to let the segment play. The testament to these developers that they want to see this game done, having to go through what they're currently. I mean, you got to remember their whole lives have been uplifted. They're in another whole country, and their home country they don't even know if they're ever going to get back to. It is. The fact that we're getting a game, folks, and like I said, I think Tony Twist said, he said, anyone that complains about the delay for Stalker is getting insta-blocked. Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think that if you are that, brain dead, you can't see what's going on, then I don't know what would even to say. That ended the show on a very, very, very powerful look into real life. I didn't expect that. When they said, like I thought they were going to show gameplay, and of course they wind up showing, which I don't know about you guys, I wasn't sure what I was seeing. Like I kind of was sitting there a little bit on pins and needles. Is this the game? Is this what's going on in real life? Are they showing someone fleeing in the truck? I didn't even know. But Needless to say, that's the 90 minutes. As we welcome in people, obviously we're getting some more people to come in and hear our behind the scenes commentary regarding the show. Well produced as always. Microsoft seems to been doing much better. Pong, I know we only got you for a limited time, so I do want to get to you first. I like shout out to Safe Space Invaders. Says, damn, that was intense. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think that was very powerful. But listen, Pong, we got a chance to see some things. Now we got a few nuggets of new games in there. Some things that we didn't expect. I've actually saw people that were disappointed that Slime Rancher wasn't in the big show, and here it is. I didn't expect it. Again, not so much a game for Boom, but that's okay. That's perfectly okay. I mean, there are some people that didn't like it. The guy, so we have someone in the chat, same X. He says lame, and I'm an Xbox fan. Yeah, I mean, they did say we were going to get some new things. I mean, listen, it is what it is. We know that the style of the way they're going to do things from now on, Pong, is going to be this is what you get for the next 12 months. I'm not a fan of that. I'm going to come right out and say it. I don't like the fact that if there is a Banjo-Kazooie, I'm going to have to learn of that from a leak. You know what I'm saying? I hate the fact that if there is going to be a Killer Instinct being made, I'm going to have to find out from listening to Randall Thor or Special Nick on the Xbox Era, or even Jeff Grubb on on his show. I don't like that. I think that there needs to be a balance struck where we get what we're playing now, what we're playing in 12 months, but you got to sell me the future. Any thoughts on that, Pong?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit. Again, I 100% agree that there has to be a balance between the two, and we don't know their full strategy, right? Without being in the meeting.
Well, we're only assuming what they presented to us. Yes,
correct. That's all we can go by, right? Without any of us being actually in those meetings, we can only go by what they're telling us right now, right? So I hope that they still understand the importance of giving us glimpses and teases and a CGI trailer here and there of what the future is going to bring as well. That's just as important as what's the next 12 months is, because again, us being humans, not everybody, but most of us as being humans always want to know what's coming up and get excited about, not just the next 12 months, but the next 2 years, next 3 years, whatever the case may be. So I do hope that they understand that and they're going to find some balance. And like we talked about, having multiple shows, whether it's smaller shows like a Nintendo Direct or State of Play, that do some of that. If E3, because I guess E3 is coming back next year, so we can still call it E3.
Right.
If E3 is going to be this format now the next 12 months, fine, as long as you have other shows where you do come out and say, hey, not only do we have this next 12 months planned out, but here's some, exciting looks at some new things that we have in the works, because that's important. Because again, I think all of us here want to see what Compulsion's working on, what an Exile's working on. We want to at least get the names, like you said, Boom, without having them leaked to us or hoping that something shows up online. That's not the way to do things either. But again, we're not a part of a $1 trillion company in Microsoft. We don't have all the marketing, that they have. All the people in marketing, they're getting paid a whole lot more money than we are to do this stuff. But I do hope they have some kind of formula going forward that, hey, if this is now what we can expect, then so be it. But you've got other things in place to give us that hope, to sell us those dreams, to do all the stuff that we come to expect for decades now when it comes to these shows and how we are able to see the future from these companies. So I think the big thing that people do maybe start having to come to grips with, however, is that these showcases now are no longer going to be just about Xbox the console. Okay. Right. This is now Xbox the ecosystem. And that ecosystem for Phil and everybody at Xbox and Microsoft is now 2 billion, 3 billion people. That includes PC. That includes mobile. And as this Activision Blizzard deal comes to fruition and they get it closed, I am definitely expecting that we're going to get more of a mix like we did at this last showcase with the Riot games, etc. And I think that we as gamers, as much as we'd love for Phil to call us up on the phone and say, hey, Pong, hey, Boom, what do you guys want to see at the showcase? We want to go ahead and cater to you. That may not be the reality that the hardcore fan base is going to be catered to at these shows all the time. It's going to have other things in there that are going to benefit the ecosystem as a whole, including PC, including mobile, including xCloud. So
yeah, I want to jump in because you're making incredible sense. But I do want to ask your opinion on this before you got to get out of here. One of the things that you can say about Sony, whether you like them, you hate them, or you're somewhere lukewarm, is that they know how to walk and chew gum at the same time. They cater to their hardcore audience by showing things that are far out, and they also seem to tap the vein of pop culture with the normies, with the non-gamers, by getting the Wolverines, getting the Spider-Man, getting things of that, doing marketing deals with Hogwarts. These are pop culture icons. These jump off a page. One of the things that I gotta say, and again, everyone knows me. Listen, I'm not complaining. I'm a diehard Xbox guy. I'm so much so that I have 2 live shows per week. No, so you can say I'm a fan. I kind of wonder if this gameplay showcase was a reactionary thing, like when someone's going to hit you in the arm, you kind of move to the side to take the impact. Because I appreciate Phil. He's out there. He's talking with the people. I think he's an incredible leader. He's exactly what Xbox needs. But I also feel that, if you compare this Sunday show and even this showcase to last year's, I thought last year's was better because it had a blend. It showed us some CGI stuff. It gave us a look behind the curtain, but hey, it said also, hey, you're getting X, Y, and Z next year. For the next 12 months is what you can expect. I'm hoping that they do hear these shows. And listen, I'm hardcore, and I understand I'm a minority. I absolutely get that. We're 10% of the Xbox fan base. We're the loudest, right? We have the shows. We go on podcasts. We're on the socials. I just feel that I don't like the idea that you're only going to show me what's coming out for the 12 months, and I'm going to have to somehow wait sitting on my hands whether or not a franchise that I'm interested in is ever going to come to fruition. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I don't know. We got 600 people here, whether you agree with me, and I'm not being a complainer. I'm being someone that's being honest. Pong, please elaborate.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Boom. And right now, I'm in a wait and see. Right, like this showcase caught a lot of us off guard with the 12-month cap. Right.
Yeah.
They basically put themselves into a box and said, "This is all we're going to show you. This is all we're going to focus on." And I kind of get it because again, the meme year that 2022 is now again with Xbox has no games. Again, I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about any of that, right? I'm just talking about AAA first-party titles. There's, again, we don't have any this year. For me, I don't care. I got plenty to play. I could wait. But that meme started again. So for them to come out and say, hey, we're going to show you what's coming in the next 12 months, and they blew that out of the water when you consider that they showed, on Sunday, they showed 35, I think it was, 35 games coming in the next 12 months.
35 or 36. I think Rand clocked it at 36 games.
36 games. So let's say 36. That's 3 per month for the next 12 months. And that also included the big AAA home runs that we're talking about, right? So again, I think they kind of did this on purpose for this reason, but I'm in a wait and see approach because we still have more shows this year, right? We still have a lot of game shows, including the VGAs, which is a big one for Xbox. So if they come to those shows and they start showing us some of the future stuff, then I'm going to know that they understand, like you were saying, Boom, that for us, we also want to see that future stuff, and that it is important that they get that out there, those teasers, those CGI trailers, etc. But they did go back this showcase and take the criticism for last showcase and say, look, we're going to show you gameplay. And they showed a ton of gameplay. Okay. They showed a ton of gameplay. So mission accomplished there. You're never going to make this fan base happy no matter what you do. Xbox is an impossible position, okay? Impossible position. It's like the Halo fan base as well. You're never going to make everybody happy, but you do have to mix it up. I 100% agree with you.
There needs to be they need to strike a
It
balance.
does. They
Yeah,
do. They do.
100%.
And I think they're finding their way. Again, they're doing something right now that no other game company has tried to do in the past. They're trying to go beyond the console limits. They're trying to get to 2 billion, 3 billion people.
Yes.
No one game company has tried to do this before in the way that at Microsoft and Xbox are doing it currently. So they're feeling their way out here, right? They're going to themselves internally have to figure out how to create this balance. We've talked about that too. And that comes down to the leadership of Phil and Sarah Bond and the rest, Matt Booty and all the rest of the team there that he's built. That's going to be on them to find that sweet spot when it comes to going forward. How do you try to make, a good portion of everybody you're trying to reach, whether it's PC, whether it's mobile, or whether it's us hardcore console players? How do you try to reach each one of them in the right manner where everybody feels like they were satisfied? They got something that they are looking forward to. I think that's really going to be the ultimate goal that they have internally, from here on out. So that's where I'm at with it.
No, I mean, that's good stuff. Hold on just one second. I want to send Daniel McGee the link. He wants to pop in. Okay. But yeah, you know what? I mean, listen, good stuff, Pong. Honest stuff. Again, I'm not complaining as an Xbox Game Pass subscriber. We're all going to be eating good for the next 12 months. That's a fact. That I mean, there's games. As a matter of fact, when is Turtles releasing? Is that tomorrow? No, that's in 2 days. In the
2 days.
Thursday. All right, Thursday. I mean, that's.
I'm in the future apparently. Sorry, forgive me. I thought it was tomorrow. It is Thursday.
Dude, you know what? My days are so mixed that I actually thought it was tomorrow as well. So don't feel bad. As a matter of fact, folks, I actually, because when I make these shows, I do them in advance. I actually launched the primetime gaming and behind the scenes had to change everything while the stream was going live.
I saw the thumbnail and I was like,
I'm looking at the thumbnail and I'm saying, wait, is it primetime gaming? Did I launch the right one? No, I actually launched the wrong one. Just
so I was in the right chat.
You were in the right chat, but I was in the wrong space.
That's funny.
This is what happens. This is once this week is done, I will have done 8 shows in 6 days. And and not as much as Pong. Pong has done like 17 shows in 6 days. But Pong, listen, brother, thank you so much for being here, brother. I know you got to bounce. You got to head over to Box and Burgers post-show reaction panel. So we'll see you. We'll see you around. We'll see you next week for sure, brother.
Absolutely, man. No, it was awesome, brother.
Sell your brand real quick. Tell everyone where they can check out Saturday.
Everybody knows Pong Soul, Xbox Pong Soul, Twitter, back to normal schedule again this week, but we got so much to cover. So PM in the PM, Thursday night, Fun Speculations channel, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Xbox Ultimate Friday night, also on Fun Speculations channel. Saturday morning, my brother from another, Steel Rain and I, Living Split Screen. Split Screen is all one word, Mission 1K. Going to be a fun show on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time. And then, of course, Saturday night, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel. Drop on in Saturday night. It's going to be fun. We got Fuzzy back from LA. Probably get some more stories from him on Saturday night for sure. So be there, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Otherwise, again, fantastic show. Great to see all of you, brothers. This has been one heck of a week, man. And again, appreciative to the entire chat who has been showing up in all of these shows and showing love, showing respect. Some of the biggest shows being done right now during this time of the year, Gamers Christmas. But shout out to all of you. You guys make this all go. And for any of you, wherever you watch your favorite content, it does not matter. You are supporting what we do here, and I appreciate every single one of you. Daniel McGee, great to see you. Sorry, you're just jumping in here as I'm walking out.
No, it's all right. I was working, so I was just watching along with you guys.
Understand completely.
I was on the clock. Don't tell my boss.
No, you won't. I'm the same way. Otherwise, love you all, brothers, and we'll
love
talk
you
to
too,
all
brother.
soon.
We'll talk soon. So listen. Before we get to the rest of the panel, I do want to catch up on super chats, and big shout out to Web Dave who has set that up for me. Jacob Novick drops the first $5 super chat of the day. He says, I find something extremely funny. In the Diablo trailer, the necromancer did a ritual to revive a dead orc to only just kill said orc. I don't know why she did that. I think she did it to collect a skull or something. I don't know, but maybe she took his soul. But Boss Mod Lethal Papa, the literally the best mod of all mods in the history of mods. He's been a channel member for 34 months. My God, dude. He says this, funny how gameplay was king after Sony stopped showing CGI after CGI and started showing gameplay. Shaking my head. Yeah, and again, it goes back to the goalpost moving that we have seen. Sir Grant drops a $1.79 super chat. Says CGI just starts the whining about game delays. Yeah, I mean, again, not to beat the horse here, folks, but they have to strike a perfect balance. They have to find a balance to get diehards hype, like myself, like everybody in this chat, and get people excited for what's coming in a certain amount of time. I like the 12-month format. It does give us a look into what we're going to be playing, but again, it's they need to find the balance. I don't like when you see these seismic changes that goes from all CG to all gameplay. They gotta find something that does that in the middle, and I think they can do that, and I think they actually will. Jacob Novick drops an additional, I believe it's a $10 super chat. He says, "Thank you so much for that, Jacob." He says, "Did you hear that Rare developer apparently said on Twitter after the show, 'Where's Banjo?' BC, a Banjo game was apparently greenlit right before the show." I mean, this is what I'm talking about, folks. Like, if anyone follows me, you understand that I have such an affection for those characters for a multitude of reasons. I'm going to say this. No one has said it from Xbox yet. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. Please, for the love of Joe, don't tell me that we had games that we pulled, because you're going to piss me off if you did that. Don't tell me that. Just don't say anything. If you had games in there like Banjo to announce and you got spooked by people complaining about, well, we want to see gameplay, please do not tell me about that, because this is what I'm talking about. I don't, as much as I love insiders, I like Jeff Grubb. Who doesn't like Jeff Grubb? Best hair in the business, right? Who doesn't like Special Nick from Xbox Era? I'm finding new people left and right. The Snitch. I didn't know who the hell the Snitch was. He's apparently a thing. He knows things. He's a snitch. I want to know about games in the future. And I think by you telling me that that's not going to happen or suggesting, I think that's a big L. I'm going to tell you that right now. But again, we don't have all the facts in front of us, so I'm going to temper my rage in regards to, we can only show you what's in the 12 months. But that's for another show. Lost for Words drops a £5 super chat and says, "Love your show, Boom. Starfield getting Andromeda vibes." He says, "Scope looks good. Xbox needs to pull something out of the bag. I scored a 5 so far." Yeah, I mean, Greeny came out yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think he said, "Listen, folks, just to give you a heads up, this is what it's going to be." And that Greeny does that regularly, and we love him for it. We also have Spartan Ghost drops a $1.79, a £1.79 super chat and says, Danger Zone. Shout out to Paris holding it down. Yeah, Paris is awesome. We also have Spartan Ghost drops an additional £1.79 super chat and says, "Bible Simulator might play Pentiment." So Josh, let's get your opinion on this. I mean, obviously the 90-minute show was the 90-minute show. I enjoyed it. I got a chance to see High on Life again. That's one of my most anticipated games. I believe it or not, I really did like the flight simulator. situation. I like seeing some behind the scenes. I mean, they basically told us that the Discovery is going to be a usable aircraft. You're going to be able to fly the Discovery. I mean, that's and we know that we have a Halo ship in there that dropped yesterday or Sunday, I should say. What were your overall takes of this 90-minute extended, and where do you fall in the balance of CGI versus gameplay? Which, again, I thought last year's show was a perfect blend.
This show was exactly what I was expecting, right? Like there was a few little
sprinkles.
Yeah, they sprinkled a few things in. The Fall Guys, right? A few other like Valheim or whatever at the beginning, right? There was just a few little sprinkles. That was really kind of what I was expecting. I couldn't imagine them doing something as big as GoldenEye or anything like that. Was I still hoping we'd see something from 343? Yes, but at this point, like, it's just, it is what it is. So we continue to move forward. As far as the CGI versus gameplay, I mean, just balance. And I don't. As we've been talking about this, maybe this show becomes the gameplay show, and moving forward with other shows throughout the year, we get more of a look out a little further, right? To see some of the upcoming games. I mean, I can't wait to see and hear the Lancer fire up from Gears for that first teaser that we get, right? And to hear the from Banjo at some point, right? Yeah. I'm looking forward to those moments, to seeing. I mean, look what we saw with Perfect Dark, and how many of us are still so excited, even though it was zero gameplay, right? It's the CGI still can bring hype. Like, I understand gameplay. This is my thought. I think that in the gamer's mind, that gameplay means it's closer to launch, which means we don't have to wait quite as long, and it's not as disappointing. Possibly, I don't. We're watching all of this for marketing purposes. That's what, like, that at the end of the day, it's to get the information about the games that are coming out. Do I want games that are launching sooner? Of course. Who doesn't want that, right? But at the expense of not knowing anything after the 12 months or too much, I said this yesterday, but any little hint to the Gears, or to new Gears, or to new Banjo, or potential new IP, or maybe Scalebound gets redone, or maybe there's Mech Assault, maybe there's Splinter Cell, maybe, I know Splinter Cell's not first party, but anything that just like, let's keep the hype train going into the next couple years. It still gives us something to talk about. It still puts something on the back of our mind, and I'm here for it. I'm excited for all the games we saw gameplay and that we get to play, but I don't mind stuff being out a little bit. But we've been living these last 3 years with delay after delay after the delay, that I don't even bat an eye anymore. I'm just like,
you just expect it.
You expect it, and I don't blame anybody. I don't get angry about it. Like, I don't want these devs crunching. I don't want any of that nonsense. I want them having a good work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking about our entertainment, right? Like, it's a luxury. And so like, I'm grateful when it shows up.
I mean, good stuff as always. Real quick, Kingfish 373 has been a channel member for 5 months. Well, thank you so much for that. He says, "Hey, Boom, enjoying the stream and the panel. You're right. There's going to be something for everyone in the coming months." Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, they from AAA bombs to single A to AA to indies. I think there's going to be something for everyone. We have Skillities drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, "No Avowed, Banjo, GoldenEye, Splinter Cell, Gears, Mandalorian, all were leaked. Maybe these leaks were made up. Why be disappointed if made up?" Listen, I hear you. Expectations. Who's really to blame? Is it us? Is it the leakers? I mean, but again, something like GoldenEye, for instance. Sarah Bond talked about GoldenEye. She talked about it when she was in college, right? And she made another, remark about it. And obviously for fun reason, because her last name is Bond, which is awesome. So that, that right there says to me that we're going to get something. For crying out loud, the GoldenEye achievements are out there. It's not like we don't know the freaking game exists, right? We've heard from a perfect example from the current Rare person. Hey, where's Banjo? I mean, he's asking for it. If he's asking for it, I don't know. But the balance, folks, there just needs to be a balance. Let's see. We got Shane drops a very generous $2 super chat and says Game Pass day one is the real exclusivity accepted. Yeah, dude, I've been saying that for years. That is an exclusive because, like I said, at the end of the day, if a AAA game is a third or second party game is coming out, like the Team Ninja game, for instance, when that releases, that's going to be on Xbox Game Pass day and date. Now, if you want to go play it on your PlayStation 5, I hear you, but that's $76.43. I'd rather play it on Game Pass because, well, I don't have to pay anything more than my $15 a month. So you're absolutely right in regards to that being the exclusivity of Game Pass, 100%. Unless, of course, Sony starts doing that. We saw that with Stray. I think Stray is one other one that's coming to the service day and date, which is great, but not worth $18 a month for me anyway. But Web Dave, let's get your opinion on this, brother. What quick thoughts of the showcase, but more importantly, where do you fall? Where do you personally fall on wanting to see just what's out in the 12 months versus I kind of want to look behind the curtain a bit?
Well, first thing I'll say is that there was 2 super chats a little further up. I just reposted them in there.
Okay, I'll check them out. Thank you.
No, you're good. You're good. I just didn't. It was my fault that they didn't get in there right. So anyway, I think that it's. I really do feel that a good balance is the key. I do like gameplay over CGI, but I'm thinking a few CGI here and there. I think it works because it does keep the hype and keep the excitement going as long as you clearly say, coming in the future or here's a glimpse of things we're working on or something to differentiate that it's not, so it's not like expected, like there are people out there that do expect, that Fable is going to be out here, like next year or anytime it's coming out. It's like it's years away, but we know they're working on it, and that's a good thing. I just think a good balance, and I kind of like Pong's idea about, or actually, I think it was Josh's idea. Sorry, Josh, that like do a show like this, have this format of like within 12 months, this is what's going to come out,
like a future games cast. I think that's what Josh
exactly
said.
And then maybe and then like when we have like the the game awards and things like that, that's when you can drop in the maybe still 1 or 2 gameplay ones, but maybe those like the Perfect Dark announcement, that's a good place for those to continue the hype or the, oh man, did you see what Xbox is working on, those kind of things. I don't know. All in all, I thought it was good. The game I was actually really impressed with today was that I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. Naraka.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that looks fantastic. It does look good.
Yeah, that actually, I'm now actually gonna be looking out for that in the next couple of weeks, and
I think it comes out next week. They said. I think it's next week, so that's awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, good stuff. I absolutely agree. Real quick, the 2 super chats that I missed. The Herd Theorem drops a $5 super chat and says, the scripted interviews reminded me of how Xbox did showcases in the 360 era. Kinda cringe, if you ask me. I mean, yeah, they're scripted for sure. There's no doubt about that. Victor Alistine drops a good friend of the program, just a $2 super chat and says, boom, give Everborn his flowers. He predicted this show would be underwhelming for his conspiracy theories of, well, they're gonna take the L on this show so they can get the FTC to approve the deal with ABK. I just think that based on the union thing yesterday that broke, that deal is getting approved this year. If you didn't know, Microsoft has approved anyone that wants to start a union that in the Activision, Blizzard camps, they have approved that they will support it, and that's a big deal. It's a big deal. The first gaming conglomerate to authorize unions to be built from this ground up for its for its members, and I think that's big. And I think them taking a step forward like that really does push this deal through the FTC, because they didn't even ask for it. It could have been one of the stipulations. They were like, "Hey, listen, we want you to do this," and they're like, "You know what? You don't even got to ask; it's already done." And I think it's a big deal. Fuzzy, let's get your opinion on this, and we'll get to Daniel, and then we'll get everyone the H out of here so you can continue your day. What you think of the 90-minute showcase? What you expected, and more importantly, where do you personally fall on the CGI versus gameplay? Do you feel like everyone else that they must strike a balance, not going from one end of the spectrum to the other, meaning that it would be all CGI versus all gameplay?
Well, I look at it with the two show approach that they did. This one gets a little bit lower score than the first, but there were some nice gems in there. Me being the Forza fan, I was hoping for a little bit more of a deeper dive on that, but they went into pretty decent depths of it on the first show. But this one, I would give it like a solid 7.5. The first show I gave a solid 8.5 to 9 range. Just more so for as far as from my standpoint, I like the gameplay aspect and the 12-month deal that they did with that. It would probably have been received a bit better if that was the what they had set as like a expectation at that point. But for me overall, I do think they need to do or have some form of a balance over the course of a year, or how they roll out information, whether it's an XO event. Like, to me, honestly, when it comes to the CGI stuff and like the future roadmap, do that just before the holidays. Like, me thinking like a marketing person, like I used to be in the automotive stuff, you want to hit them just before they get ready to fulfill those Christmas lists of their kids or their own Christmas list to pick up the console.
Yeah.
Put those out there so they're thinking, oh yeah, Perfect Dark is going to be one of those games coming up, or oh yeah, Fable's one of those games that's going to be coming out. Oh, and by the way, you get Game Pass, you already get these 12 months worth of games that they already showed. So you already know what you have to play right now, plus what's coming down the pipeline. So they definitely need to do some form of balance. But I say position it just before the holiday season, but also make it so. And I don't think they have to copy a state of play format to the most part, but at least spread things out, because even Matt Booty said it at the showcase that they're going to have some difficulty trying to figure out the scheduling aspect of things. Which one gets slotted here or positioned in the spring versus the fall and so forth. But overall, I was pleased with the show. I wasn't really expecting any major surprises, but like they kind of insinuated before, there were some new trailers, nothing that or things that weren't seen in the initial show, and a good behind the scenes on some games that, like High on Life. That game came out of the blue with the first showcase, and they even get a little bit more in depth from the dev team. That was awesome. To get an update on Stalker 2, which that was that gem that we were expecting earlier this year.
Right.
World situations, and we got to see the world situations, not just through the news, but how it directly impacted them. I think that was huge, and I applaud them on that, and I still wish them the best and safe safe times. But man, it was just an awesome way to kind of end the show. A little bit of a soft, well, not soft spot, but like a sorrow spot type of thing. But still, that was awesome to see it. They're still able to continue through and push through, and they're volunteering in their area, and that's, you got to commend that. But I was pretty pleasant with I was happy with the show overall.
For me personally, I know this might sound like crazy talk to some people. I'm a realist, folks. Remember, I'm ex-law enforcement. I understand what bad guys look like. For me, the highlight of the show is probably that piece on the Stalker developers. For me, it really it shook me to my personal core. Obviously, what they're going through, how they're still continuing this game. Like, you think about that for a second, folks. Not to bring the show to a screeching halt. Think about how that must be for them. They're worried about. There are people that didn't leave Ukraine that were on the team that are still there. There are people that are now serving in their armed forces that may not be able to make a game because they may not come back. And then they're still somehow making this game. I saw someone put it in the chat. When the game comes out, I'm buying it. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I think that even if it's it's confirmed for Game Pass, I'm going to buy a physical copy for sure, just to support the devs. And this is, again, for me, it really hit home. But Daniel McGee, let's get your opinion on this, brother. Interested to hear your thoughts on the showcase. 90 minutes. A lot of people in the chat didn't dig it, and I hear you if you didn't. But if you loved it, I hear you that too. Where do you personally fall on the strike of a balance? Hey, we want to show you what's coming in the next 12 months versus, hey, we want to show you what's coming in the future.
Yeah, so I think as far as the balance goes, like, I'm sure that they will get to that, right? Like, I know that there's that thing going around where people are saying, like, hey, this is going to be the thing going forward, where they only talk about like the next 12 months of stuff at all their showcases. And that may have been the plan at some point, but if there's one thing we know about Xbox in terms of, well, really everything, is that they're extremely reactionary. So if people didn't like what they saw at the showcase, then next time that they do one, it'll be different, right? Because that's consistently what they've been doing. In terms of for this showcase, I was okay with it, just because I feel like the showcase from 2 days ago, I feel like that was the way that it was almost entirely because of the situation that they got themselves into with 2022. Like, I feel like they needed to show so many games that were coming out in the next little while, because there was that huge gap of like, but what are we playing? Like, this is a great system and a great service, but where's the games, right? And I feel like that was kind of I feel like that showcase was designed specifically to shore up like weaknesses with Xbox, which were, what are we playing in the near future? They touched on, the Japanese audience really well. So I think they did really well in that regard. In terms of the one today, me personally, I like hearing from devs about stuff.
Me too.
Yeah, it's always really interesting to me. That being said, I don't know that necessarily this was a great showcase for me. I mean, obviously there was the really great piece at the end with the Stalker 2 devs. I think that's going to be something that people talk about for a long time. I think that was really
very
good.
powerful. Indeed.
Oh yeah, and you could tell that like Sarah Bond was feeling it, right? Because she
seemed emotional.
Into it.
She did.
She was like, you could hear it in her voice, right?
Yeah.
And really, that's the standout for me. With a probably second place going to Paris Lily, coming out looking like a movie star. I mean, my guy was looking great. What can I say? As far as the actual content we saw, though, it didn't really do anything for me. Like, there was that bit on Pentiment that explained what that game is, and I don't know. Like, I might play it now. I was with Mag during the showcase where he went full Michael Scott with
oh no.
So,
that's great.
I don't know. We'll see. But I thought it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, the two standouts, other than, of course, the Stalker 2, dev, information about how they're still managed to make this game, which is just bonkers to me, was the Hot Wheel DLC breakdown. I think that for me, I know a lot of people were disappointed with it, not me. I played with those tracks as a kid, so to play with them at the age of 51 on the screen the way we're going to be able to play it, it's like magic. Really, I got to tell you, High on Life, man. Wow, that game is it to me is the standout. And again, taking nothing away from what we saw, the Microsoft first party games what they showed looked amazing. But as a non-Microsoft first party game, High on Life is my most anticipated game of this year for a multitude of reasons. And I loved it. I actually quite enjoyed seeing the three devs from that studio kind of just joke around, like they opened up with those guys. It was funny. I thought it was good. A real quick, Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I'm a disabled Air Force vet, and if I had not lost my leg, I would have volunteered with my brothers and sisters. Brother, thank you for your support. And man, I'm so sorry to hear that had happened to you, brother, but we always see you in your chat, and we definitely appreciate you being here. We certainly appreciate your service to this country. Of course, I served as well, not only as a police officer, but I was in the United States Navy during Desert Storm. But listen, folks, we have nearly 400 people here still. I want to thank you for taking the time to, if you're just finding Double Barrel Gaming, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you enjoyed today's podcast and our coverage of the 90-minute Xbox Bethesda extended showcase, please consider hitting the like button. Obviously, Pong Soul, he did his outro. Where you can find Pong he's pretty much everywhere. But specifically with Steel Rain on Saturday mornings, living split screen, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely get over there, sub that channel. They are on the march to 1,000 subscribers. Love to see them hit that this year. Josh, sell your brand, brother. Tell where everyone can check you out on TikTok, here, there, and everywhere. And more importantly, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm N64 Josh everywhere. We have relaunched the Xbox Now channel over on YouTube, and so I'm literally uploading as we're speaking here. So lots of content going on over there. Excited to be talking about Xbox again, and with my own stuff. I love being here, hanging out with you guys as well. Of course, I host the Halo Infinite podcast and the Nintendo Powercast, so you can hear me all over the place.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here, brother. Definitely appreciate that. Outbreak podcast. Web Dave, please sell your brand. Tell everyone about your incredible one-on-ones. You've done some really big names in the gamerverse. The interviews are fantastic. They're well done. The questions are well thought out. Please sell your brand. Tell people where they can check that out. More importantly, reach out to you and follow you on social media.
Thank you, Boom. Appreciate that. It's outbreakpodcast.com is our website, or just Outbreak Podcast on YouTube here. Boom usually puts a link in the description, easy to find. And some of the big interviews I've had, the man with the million, Randall Thor 19, Dealer from Dealer Gaming, and a whole bunch of other great ones on there. Just recently, I had Doom Cutie on. So I'm looking for everybody to check that one out. She's up there now, so it's a great interview with her. And then we got some men that are working on this week. I'll be doing King David, and also got Bit Cloud as well. So nice. Some really good ones coming in, and more on the way.
Nice, brother. Love what you're doing. Those are two great interviews. Cannot wait to hear
Thank
them.
You, sir.
Fuzzy Belvedere, sell your brand, brother. Tell everyone where they can check you out on the Twitters, as the kids say. And where can people reach out to you besides there and check out your YouTube channel dedicated to everything that's racing?
Well, just want to thank you for having me on here, and thank you to everyone that joined us today watching the extended showcase. Chat was awesome. I know some of them had some differing opinions, but everybody pretty much kept it civil. And
yeah, it was good. Chat was really good. All adults here, folks. All adults.
But man, for anybody that wants to hear my ramblings on anything gaming related, specifically more so racing games and things, you can always follow me on Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. Follow my YouTube channel, or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Fuzzy_Belvedere. And I look forward to being on. Are we doing this Friday? The Breakfast with Boom?
We are. We're going to do Breakfast with Boom. I have. I'm literally working on that show as we speak.
Awesome. So look forward to seeing everybody again. Everybody come back on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out on Breakfast with Boom with me, Mr. BoomStick, Web Dave. Also Dreadpool, and possibly Bit Cloud, and maybe Crispy Bomb if time permits, type of thing. Yep. And John Wolfoo was also in the chat. It's an awesome show, guys, and hey, I greatly appreciate being a part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Daniel McGee, sell your brand, brother. Tell everyone where they can subscribe to your YouTube channel. And I just found Daniel a couple of months ago. Really well thought out videos. Definitely get over there and check him out on YouTube. But also, Daniel, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McG or on YouTube at just Daniel McG. Didn't need the middle initial there. It wasn't taken, I guess. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been really great getting the support from you guys, and it's really meant a lot to me. So it's been a blast. I basically, on my channel, I just talk about like the biggest news stuff that's been happening. You know, I work 50 hours a week, so I can't put out as much content as I would like, but you know, the more support I get, the more likely I am to be able to change that in the near future. So if you like what you see, help me spread it around and you'll get more of it.
Yeah. Well, quite enjoyed what you've been up to, brother. Definitely thank you for being here as always. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the super chats that came in. Again, they've been so many of them. I was glad I was able to read them all off today. They definitely help power the channel in regards to new equipment, new cameras, new lighting, new mics when I need them. And of course, they do allow for us to do giveaways. We are doing one in July. It's our Christmas in July. We'll be making the official announcement soon enough. My wife actually just reminded me today we got to do that. So that's going to be coming in. I'm not sure which show and exactly when in July, but we will be giving at the minimum $300 worth of gifts away, mostly digital, so we don't have to mail anything out. But as soon as we get closer to the when we're going to do it, we will make that announcement. And again, all you have to do is be in the chat, in the live chat to win. If you drop a super chat, you get a bonus entry. If you drop, if you're a channel member, you get a bonus entry. And like I said, all you got to do is be in the chat. But of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he said, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.